Chapter 333. This is bad. The level 8 golden immortal Wu Bo's face changed, and he quickly took out his communication spiritual pearl. Martial ancestor, this is bad. That Qin Yu will soon find out about our plan. Please hurry to the Amber Moon Star. If we are late, they will escape. On Red Leaf Star. Yu Qingzi received this message, and his whole person felt like he had been hit in the head with a stick. He cursed. You can't do anything right, but you're good at ruining things. Yu Qingzi had no time to punish that disciple. All he needed to do was to send people out immediately. Me, Brother Qianqi and Xia Hua will go first. The level 9 golden immortals will go first, and the level 8 golden immortals will go last. Everyone, hurry to Amber Moon as fast as you can. Yu Qingzi's immortal sense covered the entire Red Leaf Star. All the golden immortals who were involved in this matter heard the order. Yu Qingzi, what's going on? Immortal Lord Qianqi asked. Yu Qingzi was also angry. This matter was carefully ordered by Emperor Yu. If they messed it up, it would be terrible. I'm also not sure what happened to the disciples sent to Amber Moon, but they actually let that Qin Yu know we're going to deal with him. Brother Qianqi, Xiahua, let's go quickly. No matter what, we can't let them escape. Yu Qingzi said. Emperor Yu's orders, how can we go against them? Immortal Lord Xiahua also said. Soon after, the 3 strongest immortal emperors teleported to the teleportation array of Red Leaf Star. In just a few moments, close to 70 level 9 golden immortals and 200 level 8 golden immortals gathered around the teleportation array of Red Leaf Star. However, the teleportation array could only transport 10 people at a time, and there was no direct teleportation array from Red Leaf Star to Amber Moon. To go from Red Leaf Star to Amber Moon, they had to go through another planet. Let's go! Yu Qingzi, Qianqi and Xiahua all entered a teleportation array, and with a flash of light, the 3 immortal lords were teleported away. At the same time, 10 level 9 golden immortals were teleported to another teleportation array. From Red Leaf Star to Amber Moon, there were 2 paths. Yu Qingzi and the others chose the shorter path. Along the way, the golden immortal experts began to continuously teleport. Their destination was the Maple Moon Star, which was not very famous. And on this day, the Maple Moon Star would usher in the most glorious night in its history. Tonight, the number of experts on Amber Moon would surpass all records in history. 3 great immortal emperors, 70 level 9 golden immortals, and 200 level 8 golden immortals. Even level 7 golden immortals were not qualified to participate. Those who went were all experts. Kong Lan, Tu Gang, and Tan Meng were waiting respectfully behind Qin Yu, while Qin Yu was looking up at the dark red moon in the sky. The moon of the Maple Moon Star was red, which was indeed very special. Qin Yu didn't want to sleep at night, since he was going to leave early the next morning. Suddenly, Qin Yu's face sank. With a flip of his hand, several jade slip fragments appeared in Qin Yu's hand. Han Shu, something happened to Han Shu. Qin Yu's face becomes very unsightly. His eyes are wide open. As he looks at those jade slip fragments in his left hand, which is holding those fragments, trembles non-stop. His immortal sense spread out, covering the entire Lufeng city. Ever since his soul fused with Lu Xing's tear, Qin Yu's immortal sense had reached a terrifying level. Even a restriction set by a level 8 golden immortal couldn't stop Qin Yu. His immortal sense clearly found Wu Bo and Ming Han, as well as the fallen Han Shu. The air shook, and Qin Yu's body suddenly disappeared. Kong Lan sensed with his mind. In a short moment, he discovered Qin Yu's location. The 3 level 9 demon kings also used teleportation, and left the White Garden. In the main hall of Ming Han's residence, right after Lu Han Shu fell to the ground, Wu Bo had just used his transmission spiritual pearl to send out a message when Qin Yu appeared out of thin air in the main hall. Qin Yu directly arrived beside Lu Han Shu and picked him up. Han Shu, Han Shu. Qin Yu called out in vain, but his soul had already dissipated. How could Han Shu answer him? Qin Yu's whole body trembled. Ming Han. Qin Yu stared at Ming Han, his eyes like a vengeful viper. You Lu family's grand elder, actually colluded with others to kill my disciple. My only disciple. No, it's not like that. Minghan panicked. It's the Jade Sword School. It has nothing to do with me. At this moment, Qinyu didn't believe his explanation. Shua. In a flash, Qinyu was in front of Minghan. His speed was frightening. This was the first time Qinyu had used his full speed after reaching the late stage of Dark Star. Even Wu Bo was shocked to find that his speed was not as fast as Qinyu's. Minghan's entire body trembled in fear. Puchi. Minghan's hand was like a sharp weapon, piercing through Minghan's abdomen. Then, he grabbed onto Minghan's Yuanying. Minghan trembled in fear. Faced with Qinyu's speed, he couldn't react. Demonic Dao secret technique, Soul Search. Qinyu once again used the Soul Search technique. With the help of Lu Xing's tears, Qinyu easily understood everything. Whether it was the Jade Sword School's secret plan, or the events that transpired in the hall, Qinyu had seen everything that Minghan had seen. Qinyu couldn't help but look at the scene in his mind. You talk to me about family? Do I have a family? The Lu family humiliated me. I'm worse than an orphan. His disciple's crazed appearance shook Qinyu's heart. Despair? Wasn't he the same when he was a child? You are surprised why my face is so red, right? Let me tell you. This is a poison that can only be found in Amber Moon. Unfortunately, you immortals don't understand this poison, but I do. His disciple's crazed expression made Qinyu's heart tremble. Hate. Even if the enemy comes, so what? Can they kill your teacher? Foolish disciple. It's all my fault. I didn't let you know my true strength. Your teacher has the Qingyu Immortal Mansion and the Atlas of 10,000 Beasts. What is there to be afraid of? For me, you actually committed suicide, just to remind me not to fall into an ambush. Foolish disciple. Teacher, these 10 years of self-respect is more satisfying than 100 or 1,000 years of mediocre people. Disciple's death, being able to let you know the danger. Disciple is already satisfied. Qinyu looked at the scene of his disciple bleeding from the 7 orifices. His whole heart trembled. In a trance, Qinyu seemed to see his father's tribulation, the scene of him dying together with the enemy. The same determination, the same disregard for everything. In my life, the only regret is her. Lu Hanshu was bleeding from the 7 orifices, as if he was in a dream. His eyes were filled with reluctance before his death. In his memory, Hanshu slowly fell to the ground, making a loud boom sound as his body hit the ground. Qinyu's heart also felt as if it had been violently smashed. His entire body trembled violently. Qinyu's whole body trembled, his hands trembled. His muscles were stretched to the limit, blue veins popping out. His eyes were like an angry lion, fiercely staring at Wu Bo not far away. Jade Sword School. I want you blood for blood. Level 2 or 3 golden immortal strength. Wu Bo could easily detect Qinyu's strength from the aura emitted by Qinyu. His heart was full of disdain. He was a level 8 golden immortal, moreover a sword immortal. Clang. Wu Bo put his hand on the hilt of the sword behind his back. Unsheath. Too close. Less than 10 meters away. A level 8 golden immortal, and a late dark star expert. The two were unable to dodge. The figure collided with the sword energy. Qinyu was wearing a top-grade immortal battle armor, while his divine battle armor was hidden in his body, ready to appear at any time. The sharp sword energy struck the top-grade immortal battle armor, but it didn't break the armor. But it was like hitting a bull through a mountain, shaking Qinyu's body, even attacking Qinyu's abdomen. Wu Bo's face had a hint of a smile. Yuanying was weak. A level 3 golden immortal facing this move would die without a doubt. Unfortunately, Wu Bo had miscalculated the toughness of Qinyu's body. Although Qinyu was only a late dark star expert, without various weapons and equipment, his attack power was at most comparable to a level 3 golden immortal. But Qinyu's body was stronger than a level 9 golden immortal's body. After all, immortals rarely refine their bodies. Most importantly, Qinyu's body had an endless amount of elemental life force, which completely healed the injuries he had just received. Moreover, Qinyu's body was not weak Yuanying, but an extremely condensed dark star. The impact of this force on Qinyu was negligible. But could Qinyu's attack power break through the defense of a level 8 golden immortal? Wu Bo was wearing a mid-grade immortal battle armor. Although it was only a mid-grade immortal battle armor, Wu Bo was very strong. Even if Qin Yu used a top-grade immortal sword, he might not be able to break through it. Slash! A short sword suddenly appeared in Qin Yu's hand, directly piercing through Wu Bo's body and yuanying. That defensive battle armor was of no use at all. This is the first time I've used the divine weapon Heaven Splitter to kill someone. Under Wu Bo's incredulous gaze, Qin Yu slowly said in a low voice, "Divine weapon, Heaven Splitter." Wu Bo was even more incredulous. Every sword immortal knew of the strongest divine sword Heaven Splitter, of the number one sword immortal Emperor and I Yang. This short sword was actually the legendary divine weapon Heaven Splitter. The difference in power between Qin Yu and his opponent was indeed very large. If not for the fact that Qin Yu's aura had been released at the beginning, allowing the opponent to immediately determine that Qin Yu was only a level 2 or 3 golden immortal, and become careless, he definitely wouldn't have died so easily. In the end, Qin Yu relied on the incomparable sharpness of the divine sword Heaven Splitter to kill his opponent. Divine weapon. That was definitely an extremely sharp weapon that could kill people several levels above it. Not to mention that Heaven Splitter was a middle-grade divine weapon, much more powerful than Pan Man's low-grade divine weapon. Foolish disciple, your master didn't use the sword immortal puppet to kill him, but personally used the divine sword Heaven Splitter to kill him. Qin Yu looked at Han Shu's corpse not far away. His heart couldn't help but ache. Qin Yu waved his sleeve and collected Han Shu's corpse. Han Shu, when this matter is over, I will properly bury you. As for now, it's time to let those people who only know how to hide in the dark be buried with you. Qin Yu's gaze was cold. The sword immortal puppet suddenly appeared. A ray of light shot from Qin Yu's body into the puppet's body. Qin Yu's soul had already entered the puppet's body. With a wave of his hand, Qin Yu stored his body into the Qin Yu immortal mansion. Of course, his own body was more important than the sword immortal puppet. After all, only by relying on his own body could he cultivate. Moreover, his body had unlimited potential for development. Only in terms of toughness, the sword immortal puppet's body was stronger. Now Qin Yu didn't want to defend, he only wanted to kill. Crazy slaughter. He directly pushed open the hall's door. Outside the hall, Kong Lan, Tu Gang and Tan Meng were waiting respectfully. They already knew that Qin Yu was inside, but they didn't dare to disturb him. Master! Kong Lan and the other two bowed. Qin Yu raised his head to look at the dark red moon in the sky. Kong Lan, have you noticed that under the illumination of this dark red moon, the earth of amber moon is still not red enough? Kong Lan's pupils shrank. His eyes flashed with a hint of cruel bloodlust. He said, "Then we should use blood to dye it red." Hearing Kong Lan's answer, Qin Yu slowly nodded. "You're right, we should use blood to dye it red. Moreover, we should use the blood of experts to dye it red." Finished speaking, Qin Yu looked towards the sky. Qin Yu's sensitive immortal sense had already sensed that there were people coming to kill. The three figures were extremely fast, emitting a huge aura that caused the tens of millions of cultivators in Lufeng City to tremble. These cultivators felt an unprecedented fear. Three immortal lords. In the blood-red night, the three figures stood high in the sky, coldly looking at the three people below. 3 level 9 demon kings, and also divine beasts. Their strength is not bad. The leader of the three, immortal Lord Qian Qi, said with a faint smile. At this time, 10 figures flew over. The first batch of level 9 golden immortals had arrived. You're from Qin Yu's sect. Immortal Lord Qian Qi looked at Qin Yu. He felt that Qin Yu was somewhat mysterious. Qin Yu's face only had a cruel sneer. My sect's disciple was killed by your people. Qin Yu's voice sounded. That was my only disciple, and he died for me. His voice contained endless anger. It was the endless flames of hell hidden in the depths of the 9 underworlds. Immortal Lord Qian Qi, Yu Qingzi, and Immortal Lord Xiahua did not care at all. At this time, batches of level 9 golden immortals had arrived, followed by batches of level 8 golden immortals, close to 70 level 9 golden immortals, and close to 200 level 8 golden immortals. Qin Yu's eyes emitted a cold light. Close to 300 people formed two large circles in the sky. All of them were looking down at Qin Yu and them. Close to 300 people. Furthermore, the weakest among them was a level 8 golden immortal. The aura formed by this group of people was simply suffocating. Almost everyone is here. Qin Yu's voice sounded. When all the golden immortals heard this, they could not help but be stunned. Qin Yu took a deep breath and whispered in his heart, "Silly disciple. There's something that Master did not know. The immortal sword puppet's strongest body, combined with the heaven piercer's strongest attack. How strong would the two be?" Qin Yu's gaze swept over the countless golden immortals. However, Master will personally test it out today. Chapter 334. This time, the leader of Emperor Yu's party was undoubtedly Immortal Lord Qianqi. After all, Immortal Lord Qianqi was the leader of Emperor Yu's 36 rulers. Whether it was strength or status, he was much higher than Yu Qingzi. "Are you the one who killed my disciple Yu Dian?" Yu Qingzi shouted condescendingly. Now that Yu Qingzi and his men thought that everything was under their control, Yu Qingzi wanted to find out who the murderer of his disciple was before he acted. "It was me." Qin Yu looked up and coldly stared at Yu Qingzi. "I not only killed your disciple Yu Dian, today I will kill even more of your disciples." Shameless boasting. Yu Qingzi glared angrily. At this time, Immortal Lord Qianqi's voice sounded in Yu Qingzi's mind. "Yu Qingzi, don't forget Emperor Yu's order. It would be best if we can capture him alive. If we can't, then kill him and use the soul-searching technique." "Brother Qianqi, I was too rash." Yu Qingzi apologized via voice transmission. Revenge for Yu Dian was a small matter. Completing Emperor Yu's mission was the most important. Immortal Lord Qianqi looked indifferently at Qin Yu and said, "I am Immortal Lord Qianqi, the leader of Emperor Yu's 36 rulers. I will never kill a nameless person. Quickly tell me your name." Immortal Lord Qianqi wanted to use this method to know the opponent's name. "Emperor Yu, the leader of the 36 rulers?" Although Qin Yu's killing intent filled his chest, Immortal Lord Qianqi's words still made Qin Yu's heart feel a trace of vigilance. For the enemy to avenge Yu Dian, it was unimaginable that they would use such a large force. "What my name is you are not qualified to know," Qin Yu coldly said. "Brother Qianqi, there is no need to talk nonsense with him. According to Emperor Yu's order, just kill him. At the moment of his death, it will not be too late to use the soul-searching technique." Yu Qingzi coldly said. Yu Qingzi even openly said this to let Qin Yu know. "Continue to be arrogant. His Majesty, Emperor Yu, personally gave the order to deal with you. How could you possibly survive?" Yu Qingzi coldly stared at Qin Yu. Qin Yu's head was in a feverish state the entire time. However, he forced himself to remain calm in his heart. Calm down, calm down. The other party's actions this time were obviously ordered by Emperor Yu. Therefore, Emperor Yu must have heard the name Qin Yu. In the mortal world, both the Qingxi Temple and the Yinhua Palace have ways to send messages to the upper world. That Hua Yan is in the mortal realm. He will definitely report the situation to the immortal realm. Most likely. My name this Emperor Yu also knows. Suddenly, Qin Yu felt a hint of anger. I refused to believe that if I truly wanted to escape, how could Emperor Yu possibly be able to find me in the boundless immortal, devil and demon realm? Qin Yu's killing intent began to surge. After this matter is over, with the help of Lu Xing's tears, I can completely restrain my aura. The moment I left, I immediately changed my appearance. No one will be able to recognize me. Qin Yu was confident. Without any worries, what was Qin Yu afraid of? Suddenly, Qin Yu could no longer suppress his endless anger. In an instant, it completely filled his entire brain. Brother Qianqi, don't waste time with him. Just kill him. Yu Qingzi advised. Immortal Lord Qianqi looked at Qin Yu. I'll give you one last chance. If you surrender, you can at least temporarily keep your life. Otherwise, once I give the order, you will die without a doubt. Die without a doubt. Qin Yu licked his lips. His eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty light. Kong Lan, Tu Gang and Tan Meng had been quietly waiting for Qin Yu's order. Emperor Yu, you must have made such a big move to find out my identity. Then I can't let you down. Qin Yu's heart surged with a crazy killing intent. His pupils involuntarily contracted. Immortal Lord Qian Qi saw Qin Yu's expression and knew that he would not surrender without a fight. He immediately ordered, "Everyone listen, kill these 4 people at all costs." Yes, 70 level 9 golden immortals and 200 level 8 golden immortals responded at the same time. Their voices shook the heavens and the earth. All the cultivators in Lufeng City trembled in their hearts. They could only quietly look through the windows at the unreachable figures above Lufeng City. Who? Like a rain of arrows, countless sword qi and splendor directly shot down towards the 4 people below. Qin Yu and the other 3 people were completely surrounded by the sword qi and splendor. In the Atlas of 10,000 beasts, all level 8 demon kings and level 9 demon kings attack. At the same time as Immortal Lord Qian Qi gave the order, Qin Yu also gave the order. 40 top-grade elemental holy stones. How long will it take for the sword immortal puppet to consume? Foolish disciple. This is the blood sacrifice that Master brought to you. Qin Yu saw the sword qi shooting towards him. His whole body suddenly moved. Qin Yu turned into a black shadow and pierced into the level 9 golden immortal camp in the sky. Blood splattered across the night sky. Wherever Qin Yu passed by, all the level 9 gold immortals would fall to the ground. The abdomens of the level 9 golden immortals were pierced, and their yuanying was pierced. Qin Yu relied on the formidable defense of the sword immortal puppet, completely ignoring the attacks of the immortal swords and sword qi. Relying on the sharpness of Heaven Cleaver, he reaped his opponent's life as fast as he could. How is this possible? Immortal Emperor Qian Qi, Yu Qingzi and Xia Hua were all shocked. Even though he was an immortal emperor, his body's defensive power was not as strong as Qin Yu's, which allowed him to ignore the attacks of all level 9 golden immortals. In just a moment, Qin Yu had already killed 12 level 9 golden immortals. Massacre. This was a massacre. Ah! Screams came from afar. Immortal Emperor Qian Qi, Yu Qingzi, and Xia Hua finally noticed that a group of level 8 golden immortals had appeared out of thin air. These people were all crazy. With a swoosh sound, one by one they appeared. In the second layer of the Atlas of 10,000 beasts, there were 28 level 9 demon kings, and over 100 level 8 demon kings. This group of people finally killed their way out. In the beginning, the Golden Immortal Army was panicking and lost many experts. But after a while, these level 8 and level 9 Golden Immortals began to fight with the spirit beasts. Some Golden Immortals saw that they were no match for their opponents, and immediately fled on their swords. In the blink of an eye, they were thousands of miles away, but the spirit beasts also chased after them. The battle was originally only in the sky above Lufeng City, but as the fighting intensified, the area affected became larger and larger. Rumble, the sound of explosions continued to ring out. Level 8 and level 9 Golden Immortals were fighting, surging waves of energy constantly colliding. It was as if thousands of heavenly thunders were constantly roaring. Not only Lufeng City, but even the cultivators in the other 2 cities of Amber Moon could hear the terrifying sounds. Sword qi crisscrossed. Light radiated in all directions. Houses collapsed, mountains crumbled, rivers stopped flowing. Hundreds of level 8 and level 9 golden immortals were crazily killing each other. The whole of Amber Moon seemed to have fallen into an endless hell. The strongest cultivators in Amber Moon were only level 1 or 2 golden immortals. They could not withstand the attacks of these experts. Doomsday. The hearts of countless cultivators trembled. Times the 15th. Qin Yu's whole body pierced through a level 9 golden immortal's body. The level 9 golden immortal's body was split into 7 or 8 pieces. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Qin Yu casually put yuanying into the blazing profound ring. Suddenly, a green sword qi seemed to fall from the sky, slashing towards Qin Yu. When Qin Yu wants to dodge, he suddenly feels as if his whole body is stuck in a quagmire, and his speed has dropped a lot. He basically has no time to dodge. With a backhand, he uses his short sword to block that sword energy. As if he was hit by a heavy hammer, Qin Yu fell down. The energy consumption is too fast. Just blocking this sword, Qin Yu felt that his 9 top-grade elemental spirit stones had used up 30% of their energy. You can take my sword and not die. Your strength is not bad. Yu Qingzi stood in front of Qin Yu, coldly looking at Qin Yu. You dared to take so many attacks. Are you wearing a divine armor? Immortal Lord Qianqi and Immortal Lord Xia Hua also looked at Qin Yu, the 3 Immortal Lords' eyes burning. They had seen Qin Yu's unscrupulous killing just now. Other than the explanation of a divine armor, they could not think of how Qin Yu's defense could reach such a level. A divine armor? Even Immortal Lord Qianqi did not have a single divine armor. The value of a divine armor could be imagined, not to mention a defensive one. The 3 Immortal Lords' eyes were red. Qin Yu did not move, only looking at Yu Qingzi. What method did you use just now? How did it make me feel like I was stuck in a quagmire? Qin Yu asked directly. Yu Qingzi, Immortal Lord Qianqi and Immortal Lord Xiahua were all stunned. Once you reach the Immortal Lord level, you can control the energy of a domain. Don't tell me you don't even know the whole thing? Yu Qingzi was stunned, and then laughed coldly. You don't have to pretend to be deaf and dumb. Yu Qingzi attacked again. This time around, Qin Yu was able to clearly see that misty sword ray. Once Yu Qingzi's immortal sword appeared, the space around the immortal sword spread out like waves. At the same time, countless sword chi appeared naturally in this space, constantly gathering towards the immortal sword. Is this a domain? Qin Yu guessed. Master, the enemy has too many level 9 golden immortals, and many of them are golden immortals. Many of our brothers can't hold on. Kong Lan's voice sounded in Qin Yu's mind. Qin Yu's figure flew back. At the same time, his immortal sense spread out. Everywhere he saw killing. The strength of the Jade Sword School's troops was indeed strong. Level 8 golden immortals against level 8 demon kings. But many of these golden immortals were sword immortals with strong attack power. This caused Qin Yu's spirit beast army to suffer a great loss. One by one, the level 8 and level 9 demon kings, when they were about to be killed, all of them simultaneously escaped into the Atlas of 10,000 beasts. This caused many golden immortals to feel aggrieved. Just as they were about to kill their opponents disappeared into thin air, as if they had teleported. However, there were also powerful level 8 and level 9 demon kings. Most of these demon kings were divine beasts. They also killed the golden immortals, tearing apart their bodies, destroying their yuanying, causing the golden immortals' souls to scatter. When golden immortals kill demon kings can escape into the Atlas of 10,000 beasts. When demon kings kill golden immortals have nowhere to run. Fresh blood dyed the night sky red. Life after life disappeared just like that. The majority of them were golden immortals. Qin Yu discovered that one by one, the demon kings, who were facing danger, escaped into the Atlas of 10,000 beasts, while the pitiful golden immortals had nowhere to run and were killed. His mood could not help but be very good. Konglan, kill as many as you can. If you really can't, just hide in the Atlas of 10,000 beasts. As for the rest, Qin Yu felt the endless power in his body. Just leave it to me. Qin Yu gripped the divine sword Sky Piercer tightly in his hand. Yes, master. Qin Yu looked at Yu Qingzi in the distance and said, Yu Qingzi, I remember that the Silver Stream Galaxy is under your control. You can be considered the number 1 person in the Silver Stream Galaxy. At this time, you still want to waste time? This time, you will definitely die. There is no need to think about other things. Yu Qingzi coldly looked at Qin Yu, while Immortal Lord Qianqi and Immortal Lord Xiahua surrounded Qin Yu from 2 other directions. Qin Yu did not care about any of this. He only looked at Yu Qingzi and said, No, I just want to tell you one thing. There is a disciple in Maple Moon Star called Lu Hanshu. He was 25 years old when he was only in the middle stage of Jin Dan. 25 years old and only in the middle stage of Jin Dan. Hearing this, Yu Qingzi could not help but laugh at Lu Hanshu's poor aptitude. Lu Hanshu can be considered to have lived at the lowest level, ridiculed and discriminated against. When he was 25 years old, his life changed for the better. When Qin Yu said this, Immortal Lord Qianqi and Immortal Lord Xiahua were secretly setting up a restriction array. But Qinyu did not care. Yu Qingzi was also happy to stall for time. The days of freedom with a straight back, he only lived for 10 years. He died because of me, he was killed by your people. Qinyu's voice was very calm. Not only was there no anger, there was even a trace of a smile. But that smile was chilling. So I want these hundreds of level 8 and level 9 golden immortals, and even immortal lords to be buried with him. Qinyu lightly glanced at the 3 immortal lords. A 25-year-old middle-stage Jin Dan trash is dead. You still want immortal lords to be buried with him, dream on. Yu Qingzi could not help but mock. Whether it is a dream or not, we will know soon. Qinyu smiled slightly. Die. Just as Yu Qingzi's voice rang out, 3 brilliant lights shot out from the palms of the 3 immortal lords. Qinyu's entire space seemed to distort. The distorted space was filled with 3 different colored lights. Pung! The area Qinyu was in completely exploded. In an instant the area was as dazzling as the sun, illuminating the entire Lufeng city. He's almost dead. Immortal Lord Qianqi was full of confidence. Even if it was me, I would probably die on the spot. In the other 2 positions, Yu Qingzi and Immortal Lord Xiahua were also certain that Qinyu was dead. However, the explosion was only a few dozen meters away from Immortal Emperor Xiahua, who was the weakest among them. An afterimage shot out from the explosion. The distance of a few dozen meters was negligible. Immortal Emperor Xiahua could only instinctively dodge and block. The short sword first pierced Immortal Lord Xiahua's body, directly piercing through the Yuanying. Immediately after, the short sword fiercely slashed upwards, creating a half-meter-long gash. Qinyu grabbed with both hands and tore Immortal Lord Xiahua into 2, blood splattering all over the ground. Qinyu stood in the air, his body still bathed in Immortal Lord Xiahua's blood. Under the blood-red moonlight, Qinyu looked even more terrifying. Foolish disciple, this is the first immortal lord to be buried with you. Qinyu muttered in his heart. Immediately after, Qinyu's whole body moved again, turning into a ray of light and appearing in front of Yu Qingzi. Chapter 335. Whether it was Yu Qingzi or Immortal Lord Qianqi, they were both stunned. Under the combined attack of the 3, Qinyu actually did not die. Xiahua's instant death shocked Qianqi, and Immortal Lord Qianqi even more. At this time, Qinyu actually charged towards Yu Qingzi. Facing Qinyu's crazy attack, Yu Qingzi's only reaction was, without holding back, he slashed out with his sword. Pung! Qinyu was sent flying back hundreds of meters. Then Qinyu stood in the air, looking at Yu Qingzi, and Immortal Lord Qianqi not far away. In reality, Qinyu was rapidly exchanging top-grade elemental holy rock. I've used up all my energy. I'll exchange for 9 new pieces of top-grade elemental holy rock. Qinyu exchanged the top-grade elemental holy rock in the puppet's body. It was only a moment. Yu Qingzi's attack was too fierce. Just blocking one sword would consume at least 30% of his energy. Just now when the 3 immortal lords attacked together, luckily it was a type of restrictive attack that locked me in place. That way, I could not use my internal energy to defend myself and let the energy hit me. Qinyu sighed in his heart. Using the puppet's body, the most troublesome thing was the need to supply energy. Of course, Qinyu could also control the energy of the top-grade elemental holy rock in his body, but if he did not use it, for example, just now, Qinyu's entire body would be like Lu Xing, sent flying out of Amber Moon Star. He had to use energy to counteract the impact, so naturally he used up a lot of energy. Yu Qingzi, just now I said that I would bury the immortal lords with Han Shu. Didn't you not believe me? Qinyu said with a smile. Yu Qingzi and Immortal Lord Qianqi were really shocked. When the 3 immortal lords attacked together, Qinyu did not die. This was too abnormal. I also said that I would bury hundreds of level 8 and level 9 golden immortals with Han Shu. How many level 8 and level 9 golden immortals have died? Qinyu said with a smile. Yu Qingzi and Immortal Emperor Qianqi couldn't help but spread out their immortal senses. More than 130 of the 200 level 8 golden immortals had perished, and nearly 30 of the 70 level 9 golden immortals had perished. And now, Kong Lan, Tu Gang and Tan Meng were still leading a dozen people to continue fighting. Amongst them, Kong Lan was the most eye-catching. He possessed a top-grade immortal armor and a top-grade offensive immortal artifact. Coupled with Kong Lan's own strength, none of the level 9 golden immortals here were his match. Supreme-grade immortal armor? Yu Qingzi's eyes lit up. He no longer cared about Qin Yu. His entire body traversed several hundred meters in an instant, and a beam of sword light appeared above Kong Lan, who was in the midst of a fierce battle. Kong Lan hurriedly blocked with his top-grade saber, a level 1 immortal emperor sword immortal, and a level 9 demon king divine beast. But one of them launched a sneak attack, while the other hurriedly blocked. Kong Lan spat out a mouthful of blood and flew back. Yu Qingzi sneered and was about to give chase. But at this moment, Qin Yu had no time to save him. Suddenly Kong Lan, who was retreating, disappeared. Yu Qingzi looked at this scene in astonishment. The air trembled. A shadow appeared in front of Yu Qingzi in the blink of an eye. Yu Qingzi only saw a pair of cold and bloodthirsty eyes. Without hesitation, Yu Qingzi's immortal sword emitted a shocking brilliance. An explosion sounded. Yu Qingzi and Qin Yu retreated in opposite directions. Another 30% of my energy. Qin Yu felt helpless. This Yu Qingzi's attack power is much stronger than that immortal Emperor Xiaohua's. One sword was enough to split me apart. I didn't even have the chance to get close to him. And that sword, no matter what, I couldn't dodge it. As one of the 36 rulers, how could he be killed so easily? Yu Qingzi, this guy is relying on the defense of his divine armor. No matter what, you can't let him get close. Immortal Emperor Qian Qi transmitted. I know. With my jade ring sword technique, he can forget about getting close to me. Yu Qingzi was very confident. He transmitted. Brother Qian Qi, I feel that his strength isn't that strong. If you use the mountain shaking seal, you can attack him through the divine armor. Although your attack power will be reduced to 10%, it should be enough to kill him. Mountain shaking seal? Immortal Emperor Qian Qi's eyes lit up. Qin Yu looked at these two great immortal emperors. He didn't know what these two great immortal emperors were talking about through voice transmissions. Merely, after the successive attacks earlier, Qin Yu discovered that he was unable to do anything to them. Silly disciple, your master's strength is not enough. I can't even get close to him. Qin Yu glanced at the level 9 golden immortals beside him. So far only 30 of them had died. I can't kill another immortal emperor. I can only use more level 9 golden immortals to accompany you in death. A black ray of light. It shot towards the level 9 golden immortals. Anyone who was pierced by the black ray of light would die without a doubt. Immortal Emperor Qian Qi's face was solemn. His hands were forming a seal, and his hands were emitting rays of green light. Strange green runes slowly appeared in the palms of his hands. When the black ray of light consecutively killed 12 level 9 golden immortals. Boom! Qin Yu felt as if he had fallen into a quagmire. Only this time, the situation was more serious than the last time. At the same time, a 7 or 8 meter large green palm came crashing down towards Qin Yu. Pung! Qin Yu couldn't dodge in time, and was directly hit by the palm. Qin Yu's whole body was smashed to the ground. Qin Yu only felt a strange force penetrating his outer armor and into his body. It was constantly transmitted to the depths of his body, all the way to the 9x9 origin spirit array. Qin Yu's heart jumped in fright. If the 9x9 origin spirit array was broken, then wouldn't the sword immortal puppet's body be finished? When the strange force transmitted to the periphery of the 9x9 origin spirit array, it actually dissipated. Letting out a sigh of relief, Qin Yu hurriedly used the top-grade elemental spirit stone in his body to counteract the rapid fall of his body. When he was close to the ground, Qin Yu's whole body finally stopped falling. 9 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stone, and there's only about 5% energy left? Qin Yu felt the terrifying depletion of energy in his body, and couldn't help but be shocked. Die! Pung! Immortal Emperor Qian Qi's other palm came crashing down. This palm came crashing down on Qin Yu's head. The force of the palm smashed Qin Yu's whole body into the ground, sinking deeper and deeper. The strange force that penetrated his body through the armor once again transmitted to the 9x9 origin spirit array, automatically dissipated. Pung, 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 pung. Qin Yu's sword immortal puppet's body unceasingly collided with the underground rock layer, unceasingly falling deeper into the ground. The energy of the top-grade elemental holy rock in Qin Yu's body had already been completely used up. This immortal Emperor Qian Qi is too terrifying. If I used my original body, even if I wore the divine armor black frozen snow, immortal Emperor Qian Qi would still be able to heavily injure or even kill me. Qin Yu could feel it. When the palm hit his body, most of the energy was used on the surface, but there was still about 10% of the strange force that penetrated his body. 10% of immortal Emperor Qian Qi's strength. If it was Qin Yu's body, it would really be dangerous. But this sword immortal puppet body, not only was the outside unbreakable, the inside was also the same. I don't want to fight with this immortal Emperor Qian Qi. Just 2 palms, and my top-grade elemental spirit stone's energy will be completely depleted. Qin Yu immediately exchanged for another 9 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stone. Qin Yu tried to stop his body. Only now did Qin Yu discover that he had actually been smashed into the underground magma by a single palm strike. The spirit beasts have all escaped into the Atlas of 10,000 beasts. Now I have nothing to worry about. But what is going on I must find out. To tell the truth, Qin Yu was still not clear about the enemy's true goal. Was the enemy here to find out his identity, or to avenge Yu Dian? Just as Qin Yu was thinking, Qin Yu suddenly realized that immortal Emperor Qian Qi was actually following the path he crashed into. Without the slightest hesitation, Qin Yu rushed toward another direction. No one dared to teleport. After all, at this moment, the 2 sides were fighting and the space was trembling. If they teleported, they might be torn apart by the chaotic space. Relying on the toughness of his body, Qin Yu rushed out of the underground magma in a single breath. His immortal sense found a level 8 golden immortal not far away. Qin Yu ignored the pursuing immortal Emperor Qian Qi and directly rushed towards the level 8 golden immortal. This level 8 golden immortal was originally fighting with the level 8 demon king from Lufeng City, all the way to Yinshan City. Who would have thought that the level 8 demon king would disappear into thin air? At this moment, the level 8 golden immortal was enraged. The level 8 golden immortal only saw a blurry shadow flash in the night sky. After that he lost consciousness. Qin Yu's hand was like a claw that grabbed the level 8 golden immortal's head. Demonic Path Soul Search. The soul search technique relied on the power of the soul. Although Qin Yu was in the body of the sword immortal puppet, he could still use it. After searching the Jade Sword School 3rd generation disciple, Qin Yu's heart understood. Yu Qingzi, immortal Emperor Qian Qi, and the others gathered the experts of Red Leaf Star. Their goal was not to avenge Yu Dian? Qin Yu finally understood. If the enemy was not here to avenge Yu Dian, then there was only one possibility. Emperor Yu really doubted himself. If you doubt me, then so be it. Emperor Yu, after your subordinates report back to you, you should be able to guess that I have the Atlas of 10,000 beasts. But will you be able to find me? Qin Yu's heart was filled with confidence. Lu Xing's tear could completely conceal his aura. As long as Qin Yu changed his appearance, even Yu Qingzi and immortal Emperor Qian Qi would not be able to recognize Qin Yu. Suddenly, a terrifying energy descended from the sky. Qin Yu had already discovered immortal Emperor Qian Qi flying towards him from afar. Eat my dust. Qin Yu's divine sword Heaven Splitter enlarged. Stepping on it, Qin Yu's speed suddenly reached a new level. In an instant, he had left immortal Emperor Qian Qi far behind. Immortal Emperor Qian Qi stared blankly as Qin Yu left him behind. After a while, Yu Qingzi and the surviving level 9 and 8 golden immortals caught up. At this time, there were only 20 or so level 9 golden immortals and 50 or so level 8 golden immortals left. Almost all of them were injured. Brother Qian Qi, where is he? Yu Qingzi looked at immortal Emperor Qian Qi. Immortal Emperor Qian Qi smiled bitterly. He has already escaped. In this battle, the enemy did not suffer any losses. It was estimated that when their golden immortals self-destructed, the enemy lost a few people. On the other hand, their side lost most of their men, and even an immortal emperor died. Qin Yu, on the other hand, received a large number of level 8 and 9 golden immortals, and even an immortal emperor Yuanying. As for where Qin Yu escaped to, who would know? Chapter 336. The patriarch of the Lu family, Lu Yinlu, was extremely terrified at this moment, especially when he felt the terrifying sword energy emitted from the battle in the sky. He became even more worried and afraid. Whether it was the Jade Sword School or Qin Yu, both sides were terrifyingly strong. Close to 300 golden immortals, and even the weakest is a level 8 golden immortal. What a strong force. The head of the Lu clan trembled. When the level 8 golden immortal Wu Bo secretly contacted the head of the Lu clan, and the Lu clan Grand Elder, he revealed that the weakest expert was a level 8 golden immortal. As for the head of the Lu clan, he knew the number of people who came. Because the planet's transfer array was controlled by the Lu clan, the number of people who came, the Lu clan naturally knew. That Qin Yu's background is too big to be able to fight evenly with the Jade Sword School? The head of the Lu clan thought of the Grand Elder being killed, and felt his legs go weak. If the Jade Sword School wins, they might blame us because Qin Yu is our guest. If Qin Yu wins, he can kill the Grand Elder, and can also destroy our Lu clan. No matter who won, it would not be good for the Lu clan. The head of the Lu clan could only feel the darkness of the future. The sound of the explosion gradually disappeared, and the head of the Lu clan felt that the blood-red night had returned to its calm state. It was so quiet that not even a trace of sound could be heard. This made the head of the Lu clan even more nervous. Sitting in the study, the head of the Lu clan let his imagination run wild. Suddenly, a series of sonic booms sounded from outside the study, and the head of the Lu clan's face changed. Lu Yinlu, come out. An angry shout came from outside the study. What's coming has come. Lu Yinlu sighed in his heart, and then squeezed out a smile, straightened his back, and opened the door to walk out. Outside was the angry Yu Qingzi's group. Yu Qingzi and Immortal Emperor Qianqi were the leaders, and behind them were 70 or 80 golden immortals. When they came, the total number of level 8 and level 9 golden immortals was more than 270, but now almost 200 had died, including an immortal emperor. Lu Yinlu, this is the head of the Jade Sword School, and this is Immortal Emperor Qianqi. A level 9 golden immortal shouted. Lu Yinlu immediately bowed and said, Lu Yinlu greets the two seniors. At this time, Lu Yinlu didn't seem to be nervous at all. When a person's fear reached the limit, they would be like Lu Yinlu, no longer afraid of anything. Because he was prepared for the worst-case scenario. You are the head of the Lu family? Yu Qingzi's eyes were cold. Yes. Lu Yinlu bowed his head. Yu Qingzi said slowly. The operation to kill Qin Yu's sect elders was ordered by His Majesty Emperor Yu. But this time we let that guy escape. And just as you said, that Qin Yu, we searched the entire Amber Moon planet, but couldn't find him. What's going on? I know that Maple Moon planet's teleportation array is controlled by your Lu family. If he leaves, your Lu family should know, right? Yu Qingzi asked. Lu Yinlu thought for a moment and said, Qin Yu's power has reached the level of a golden immortal. He probably received the news in advance and used greater teleportation to reach another planet. It's not impossible. Yu Qingzi's face was filled with anger. Beside him, Immortal Lord Qianqi was also unhappy. This time, they had lost miserably. Yu Qingzi was so angry that he wanted to go on a killing spree. If not for the fact that he was suppressing the anger in his heart, he would have already gone mad. This time, the Jade Sword School had lost 80% of its elite disciples. Even the second-generation disciples were only left with 2. The number of experts in the Silver Stream Galaxy was far from enough. Yu Qingzi's position in Emperor Yu's palace was likely to drop. Immortal Lord Qianqi also failed his mission. Although his galaxy was not in the Indigo Bay star field, he was not happy that Emperor Yu had given him such an important mission. Tell me everything about Qin Yu, especially where that Qin Yu could be. Immortal Lord Qianqi said. Immortal Lord Qianqi, Yu Qingzi and the rest treated the people who had fought with them and Qin Yu separately. They thought that there were no clues to find Qin Yu's sect elders. They could only find Qin Yu first. Where could Qin Yu be? Lu Yinlu muttered. Immortal Lord Qianqi and Yu Qingzi stared at Lu Yinlu. There is a possibility. Lu Yinlu's eyes suddenly lit up. Seniors, that year when Qin Yu first came to Amber Moon, he asked us for the interstellar map to the demon realm. Moreover, I talked with Qin Yu a few times. Qin Yu has always wanted to go to the demon realm. Immortal Lord Qianqi and Yu Qingzi were both happy. Demon realm? The two immortal lords looked at each other. Speak. Is there any other way to find Qin Yu? Immortal Lord Qianqi asked again. They wanted to squeeze all the information out of Lu Yinlu. Lu Yinlu thought for a long time, but still shook his head blankly. Yu Qingzi's eyes flashed with anger. He asked again. In your entire Lu clan, besides you and your grand elder, who else is close to Qin Yu? No, even if there is, they are all dead. Lu Yinlu obviously thought of Lu Hanshu. It was just that when Lu Yinlu found out that the grand elder had died, he also found out that Lu Hanshu's soul jade slip had shattered. Yu Qingzi and Immortal Lord Qianqi stayed on Amber Moon for half a day, carefully looking for clues. In the end, they could only helplessly return to Red Leaf Star. Times faintly, in the thick clouds, an almost transparent white veil floated. Inside the veil, a purple-robed middle-aged man sat cross-legged inside. In front of him was a small table with a cup of tea. However, opposite him was no longer the green-robed sword immortal. Extremely strong defense. Could it be a divine armor? Emperor Yu smiled. Looks like it could really be Ni Yang's Black Snow divine armor. That person was able to kill Xia Hua. Looks like his strength is around level 9 Golden Immortal, or level 1 Immortal Lord. There are a lot of level 8 and 9 Demon Kings? Emperor Yu shook his head and smiled. At that time, Hua Yin sent news that the Atlas of 10,000 Beasts was obtained by Qin Yu's martial uncle Lan Feng. Looks like the person who killed everyone was Lan Feng. Only released Demon Kings? Lan Feng's strength should be at level 9 Golden Immortal. From these few messages, Emperor Yu had already deduced some information. Obviously, he already knew about the existence of the divine weapons Atlas of 10,000 Beasts and Black Snow. Naturally, Emperor Yu could easily deduce the existence of other divine weapons, such as Ni Yang's Heaven Splitter divine sword, and the immortal, devil and demon realm's #1 treasure, Bewitching God painting. Even though he knew this information, Emperor Yu's expression did not change, only slightly raising his eyebrows. Go to the demon realm? Seeing the news from Yu Qingzi, Emperor Yu was slightly surprised, but after a while he understood. Hua Yin once said that Qin Yu had 2 brothers. One of them was a fiery-eyed water ape. It looks like his 2 brothers have ascended to the demon realm, and he wants to go find them. Everything Emperor Yu guessed was not far from the truth. Soon after, Emperor Yu indifferently issued a few orders. Raising his teacup and taking a sip, Emperor Yu looked towards the southwest. From Indigo Bay Star Field to the demon realm, directly going west from the immortal realm, should be the shortest path. And the immortal realm is also the place where my power is the strongest. Lan Feng, Qin Yu, I have many obstacles. Can you 2 uncle and nephew pass through? Emperor Yu's smile bloomed. Ha! Lightly exhaling, Emperor Yu muttered to himself. Bewitching God painting, bewitching God painting. Even I can't help but be moved when I hear about your existence. Now that I am already a level 8 Mystic Immortal, who knows when I will reach level 9 Mystic Immortal? Only the power of the divine tribulation is too great. If I rely on myself to pass the tribulation, the possibility of success is too low. Bewitching God painting. Once the news of your return to the immortal, devil and demon realm spreads, those old friends of yours will most likely leave their nest. Emperor Yu raised his teacup and drank it in one gulp, then suddenly stood up. Last time, it was Ni Yang who obtained the Bewitching God painting, but his luck was bad, and he was poisoned by a poisonous insect from the immortal realm. Even a poisonous insect from the immortal realm cannot be underestimated. Only this time, I am the first to know about the Bewitching God painting. This time it is my turn to obtain the Bewitching God painting. Emperor Yu's smile became even more brilliant. His gaze seemed to pass through the white fog, through space, and saw Qin Yu. Times from Indigo Bay star field to the demon realm. All the teleportation portals were very strict, especially those who appeared in the demon realm. Even Yu Qingzi and immortal Lord Qianqi carefully looked at all suspicious people. After all, Yu Qingzi and immortal Lord Qianqi had seen Qin Yu, Kong Lan, Tu Gang and Tan Meng. Emperor Yu's influence was very strong. In reality, he controlled more than 20 galaxies, of course. He could not control an entire star field. The galaxies controlled by the three great powers of the immortal realm were relatively scattered. No one could control an entire star field. Emperor Yu himself controlled 20 galaxies, at the same time had many friendly powers, and even vassal powers, so Emperor Yu controlled a very large area. Search. But no matter how hard Yu Qingzi and immortal Lord Qianqi ran, they could not find Qin Yu, Kong Lan and the others. This result caused Emperor Yu, who was far away in his headquarters, to be somewhat surprised. On a relatively prosperous planet, Yu Qingzi and immortal Lord Qianqi were walking side by side. Brother Qianqi, just now Emperor Yu gave the order. The two of us can finally rest for a while. Yu Qingzi let out a long sigh of relief. Immortal Lord Qianqi also smiled helplessly. His Majesty Emperor Yu is obviously very concerned about Qin Yu's sect. He ordered us to use all our strength to capture these two people, and to monitor almost every path, especially the one leading to the demon realm. But it was completely useless. That Qin Yu and his sect's elders are also strange. It's like they evaporated, we can't find them. Yu Qingzi said helplessly. Immortal Lord Qianqi smiled faintly. When we were on Amber Moon, they escaped and we couldn't find them, and now it's the same, haha. It's really quite interesting. Our surveillance is so strict, but we still can't find them. Could it be they don't use interstellar teleportation to travel, but directly use greater teleportation? Yu Qingzi suddenly said. Immortal Lord Qianqi was stunned. Constantly using greater teleportation to travel through interstellar space? Even immortal lords would not be so crazy. Although greater teleportation distance is much greater than teleportation, but to travel through interstellar space, it is too tiring. Not only does it consume energy, but it also wastes time. Using interstellar teleportation was not only easy, but also fast and far. If Qin Yu and his sect's elders really use greater teleportation to travel, then they could really avoid Emperor Yu's people. Immortal Lord Qianqi smiled. But to do that, it's a bit too crazy. Times the Indigo Bay star field bordered by the Immortal Realm and the Devil Realm had a total of 10 galaxies, the largest of which was called the Blue Moon Galaxy. The Blue Moon Galaxy as a whole was shaped like a crescent moon, and there were two extremely large planets, one of which was called the Hidden Emperor Star. The Hidden Emperor Star was located in the northern region of the Blue Moon Galaxy, and there were many experts there. Golden immortals, who were rare on ordinary planets, could be seen everywhere on the Hidden Emperor Star. The master of the Hidden Emperor Star was after all the recognized #1 expert of the Immortal Realm, the Hidden Emperor. The Blue Moon Galaxy had two extremely large planets, the other was the Blue Fire Star. The Blue Fire Star was the core planet of the entire Indigo Bay star field, and was extremely prosperous. Even among the countless planets in the Immortal, Devil and Demon Realm, the Blue Fire Star could be considered as a top-level super prosperous planet. There were experts from the Immortal Realm, the Devil Realm, the Demon Realm, and even people from mysterious areas. On the Blue Fire Star, there was a restaurant that could be considered to be above average, the How You Restaurant. This was a luxurious restaurant with 18 floors. To the Immortals and Devil Realm experts, not to mention an 18-floor restaurant, even a 100-floor palace would be a piece of cake. On the second floor of the How You Restaurant, there were many customers eating and drinking. Young master, let's go back and rest. We've been eating for a long time. The food is already cold. A pretty servant girl with bright eyes and white teeth gently pulled her young master's arm and said. This servant girl was from the Demon Realm, and had already reached level 6 Demon King. Her original form was a little white rabbit. Her young master was a young man in blue. Wonder, don't worry, Let your young master finish this wine before going back, okay? This young man's attitude towards his servant girl was extremely good. The servant girl Wanner pouted her little mouth and looked at her young master, and could only nod her head. That blue-clothed young man slightly smiled, and then continued to leisurely drink his wine. His gaze was looking through the window at the bustling big city. On the streets, there were groups of experts. In the blue fire star, golden immortals could be seen everywhere. This was the core planet of the star field. Although the Haoyu restaurant was not a top-notch restaurant, the price of a night's accommodation was still 100 low-grade elemental spirit stones. It was not something that ordinary people could afford. Boss Qing Yan, the blue-clothed young man suddenly called out. A stout-looking middle-aged man heard the shout, and immediately turned his head to look over. Ah, it's young Master Shi Shuang. I didn't expect to see young Master Shi here. After saying that, he happily walked over. Chapter 337. Qing Yan, the owner of Haoyu Restaurant, was considered a local tyrant in Blue Flame Star. His wealth was comparable to the big clans of Amber Moon Star. There were many rich people on Blue Flame Star. Ming Han, Yin Gao and the rest were just ordinary people. In Blue Flame Star, the big shots of Amber Moon Star could be seen everywhere. From this, one could see the status of Blue Flame Star. In Blue Flame Star, it was even possible to meet a Demon Emperor level expert from the immortal or demon realm. The owner of Haoyu Restaurant, Qing Yan, had met young Master Shi Shuang half a month ago. He remembered young Master Shi Shuang mainly because young Master Shi Shuang was very generous. Staying in Haoyu Restaurant cost 100 high-grade elemental spirit stones per day. When young Master Shi Shuang arrived, he casually placed 10 high-grade elemental spirit stones on the table and said, "Deduct it from the room and meals. Let me know when it is not enough." 10 high-grade elemental spirit stones, that was 100,000. It was definitely enough for young Master Shi Shuang to stay for a long time. Such a rich guest was rare, because most people who stayed for a long time would rent a courtyard or buy one. Very few would stay in a restaurant for a long time. Haoyu Restaurant had 18 floors. The 7th to the 17th floor were all rooms. Each room was extremely large. That day, Qing Yan had drunk with young Master Shi Shuang at the same table. Because when Qing Yan saw young Master Shi Shuang's servant, he knew that young Master Shi Shuang was not an ordinary person. This servant was a level 6 demon king, and was also from the demon realm. And young Master Shi Shuang's aura was only that of a level 2 or 3 golden immortal. The master was weaker than the servant? This could only mean that the master was from a big clan. Otherwise, to have someone so much stronger as a servant was too difficult. Young Master Shi, half a month has passed. Is young Master Shi used to living here? Qing Yan walked to the side and smiled. Sit, the blue-clothed youth smiled. Boss Qing Yan, what do you want to sit in such a hurry? The blue-clothed youth smiled and asked. Qing Yan was slightly startled. The blue-clothed youth said naturally, "If there is a secret, there is no need to say it. I am just asking." The servant Wanner pouted. Young master asked you a question, and you still put on airs. Wanner. The blue-clothed youth glanced at the servant Wanner. Wanner immediately stuck her tongue out, and did not dare to say anything. Qing Yan chuckled. Young Master Shi, there's no need to blame Miss Wanner. There's nothing secretive about this matter. Every time my Haoyu hotel receives money, most of it is low-grade elemental spirit stones. Very few are mid-grade elemental spirit stones. High-grade elemental holy, or was extremely rare. So, after a period of time, the restaurant will accumulate a large amount of low-grade and mid-grade elemental spirit stones. I want to go out and exchange them for high-grade elemental spirit stones. Oh, the blue-clothed youth understood. That's right, your restaurant charges such a high price. How could ordinary people use high-grade elemental spirit stones? That's right. Where are you going to exchange your scattered low-grade and mid-grade elemental holy stones? Qing Yan chuckled and said, Young Master Shi, you don't know. I want to exchange for large amounts, but there are also people who want to exchange for small amounts of elemental spirit stones. After being in Blue Fire Star for so many years, there are still some channels. The young man in blue smiled and nodded. In terms of understanding of Blue Flame Star, I'm far inferior to Boss Qingyan. Young Master, there's no need to say that. Young Master, you usually have your subordinates to help you with your matters. Why would you personally deal with such complicated matters? It's normal that you don't know about the intricacies, Qingyan said with a smile. Qingyan had long felt that young Master Shi Shuang was not ordinary. Not only did he see it from the maidservants, but also his temperament, that aloof and indifferent aura. How You Restaurant's patrons were mostly golden immortals, but there were also powerful level 8 and 9 golden immortals, or level 8 and 9 demon kings. But this young Master Shi Shuang did not seem to care about those people. The blue-clothed youth smiled and said, "Speaking of exchanging money, I suddenly have a favor to ask of Boss Qingyan. Young Master Shi, as long as I can help, I will definitely help." Qingyan said. The blue-clothed youth nodded and said, "Recently, I want to cultivate properly, but there are too few top-grade elemental spirit stones on me, and the purity of the high-grade elemental spirit stones is not enough. I want to ask Boss Qingyan to help me exchange some top-grade elemental spirit stones for some top-grade elemental spirit stones." Qingyan choked. In his heart he cursed. This mother asterisk cur is infuriating. Using high-grade elemental spirit stones for cultivation is not enough? I rarely use high-grade elemental spirit stones for my own cultivation. Even using them once makes my heart ache. Fortunately, the blue-clothed youth had placed a small seal around the two of them when they were talking. Otherwise, the other patrons on the second floor would have cursed in their hearts. But this also confirmed Qingyan's suspicions. This young Master Shi Shuang was a young master from a large family. With only the strength of a level 2 or 3 golden immortal, he insisted on using top-grade elemental spirit stones for his cultivation. A piece of top-grade elemental spirit stone was worth 1,000,000. One could see how much wealth he had. Exchange for top-grade elemental spirit stones. Qingyan muttered to himself, then smiled bitterly to Shi Shuang. Young Master Shi, although I have my own channels, but usually I only exchange high-grade elemental spirit stones. As for top-grade elemental spirit stones, although I have exchanged a few times, but usually I only get a few pieces. Young Master Shi Shuang laughed lightly. I know you are familiar with the channels, but of course, I will not let you work for nothing. When Qingyan heard the last sentence, he was overjoyed. He knew that if such a big shot said that he would not work for nothing, the reward would definitely not be small. After a moment of silence, Qingyan's eyes became resolute. He looked at young Master Shi Shuang and said, Young Master Shi, this time I will try for young Master Shi, but I wonder how many top-grade elemental spirit stones young Master Shi wants? Young Master Shi Shuang lightly drank a cup of wine. He laughed lightly. Try your best. 100 is not too little. 1,000 is not too much, of course. I can take out even more. Gulp. Qingyan gulped. Qingyan felt his heart tremble. 100 not too little? 100 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones was equivalent to 100 million. Even if Qingyan added up all his wealth, it would only be about the same amount. And from young Master Shi's tone, 100 pieces was nothing to him. Looking at Qingyan's expression, young Master Shi Shuang laughed in his heart. To him, what was 100 million? During the battle on Amber Moon Star, he had killed a large number of level 9 golden immortals, and over 100 level 8 golden immortals. At the same time that his spirit beasts had killed him, they had also taken away his nascent soul and spatial ring. This was Qin Yu's earlier order. Killing others for their treasures, this was very normal. Level 8 golden immortals, level 9 golden immortals. The poor ones had over 10 million, and the rich ones had over 1 billion. Among the group of people that Qin Yu had killed, the richest was naturally immortal Emperor Xiahua. He was after all an immortal emperor. His wealth was close to 5 billion. This huge amount of wealth added up to over 10 billion. And the 3 envoys, Hua Yan, Ao Feng, and Du Zhongjun, although they did not have much elemental spirit stones, they had many rare treasures. The 3 of them together was a shocking amount. But Qin Yu had over 100 top-grade immortal equipment, and over 1,000 high-grade immortal equipment. Shi Shuang. One actually thinks that my name is a little like a girl's name. Qin Yu laughed at himself. Shi Shuang was a name that Qin Yu had made up. The Battle of Amber Moon. In the end, Qin Yu had escaped like lightning, directly using greater teleportation to continuously travel from one planet to another. Just relying on greater teleportation, Qin Yu had used greater teleportation for 3 days and 3 nights. From one planet to another. Fortunately, Qin Yu had a detailed map of the Indigo Bay star field. He knew which planets were safe and which were dangerous. Qin Yu just like that, one moment, he would enter an uninhabited desert planet. The next moment, he would enter an inhabited planet. In this way for 3 days and 3 nights, finally leaving the Silver Stream Galaxy. Qin Yu returned to his original body, changed his appearance, and put Kong Lan, Tu Gang, and Tan Meng into the Atlas of 10,000 Beasts. After that, he directly used the interstellar teleportation array to easily arrive at Blue Flame Star. Even if he met with surveillance on the way, no one would be able to recognize Qin Yu. With the help of Lu Xing's tear, even if Yu Qingzi and Immortal Emperor Qianqi personally came, they would not be able to detect Qin Yu's soul. The power of the Dark Star was completely condensed in the deepest part of his dantian, a very small point. Arriving at Blue Flame Star, Qin Yu lived a quiet life. He knew that the current Emperor Yu would definitely intercept him on the way to the Demon Realm. So Qin Yu might as well stay in the Indigo Bay Starfield's most prosperous Blue Flame Star for a period of time. Qin Yu knew that Emperor Yu would definitely order his subordinates to pay attention to the existence of a level 9 Demon King. After all, if a level 9 Demon King appeared, it would very likely mean that the Atlas of 10,000 Beasts was present. In Blue Flame Star, there were all kinds of experts from all over the Immortal, Devil and Demon Realm. Qin Yu only chose a level 6 Demon King rabbit from the Atlas of 10,000 Beasts. A level 6 Demon King in Blue Flame Star was not eye-catching. Even Qin Yu strictly ordered Wan'er to call him Young Master, and not Master. Therefore, a maid Wan'er and a young master, Shi Shuang, lived so inconspicuously in Blue Flame Star. How could Emperor Yu's subordinates find them? Young Master Shi, 100 pieces. Even if I exchange them for 100 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones, I don't have that kind of ability. Qin Yin said helplessly. In reality, Qin Yu was not in a hurry. During the Battle of Amber Moon Star, he collected so many golden immortals and terspatial rings. There were more or less some top-grade elemental spirit stones. The total amount was shocking. Especially that Immortal Emperor Xia Hua. Maybe because he was an Immortal Emperor, he used top-grade elemental spirit stones for his cultivation, so that Immortal Emperor Xia Hua had more than 200 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones. Try your best, exchange as much as you can this way. For every piece of top-grade elemental spirit stone, I'll give you 5 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones. Qin Yu's face showed a trace of a smile. Qin Yan's eyes lit up, his breathing became slightly rough. Rest assured, young Master Shi, I will definitely think of a way to help you exchange enough top-grade elemental spirit stones. Qin Yan's entire aura changed. It was obvious that Qin Yan had decided to use various channels to help exchange. For every piece of top-grade elemental spirit stone, it would be 5 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones. In other words, for every 500 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones, it would be 2,500 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones, which was 25 million in wealth. Regarding the matter of exchanging top-grade elemental holy ores, as long as I'm still staying in your restaurant, I'll accept as many as you can exchange for. Qin Yu says with a smile. I still have one more thing that I want to ask you. Please ask, young Master Shi. Qin Yan was now full of enthusiasm. Qin Yu's eyes narrowed. A ray of cold light flashed inadvertently. Boss Qin Yan, I heard that 10 years ago, Emperor Yu and the Demon Realm's Blood Devil Emperor formed a good business relationship. Is that right? That's right. Qin Yan's face was full of envy. Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor. They are both supreme figures. Their transactions, the amount of wealth is extremely terrifying. 10 years ago, when the two sides formed a good relationship, it caused a huge commotion in Blue Flame Star. At that time, Emperor Yu's side was managed by a level 8 golden immortal called Yu Dian. I still remember clearly. Oh, Qin Yu nodded slightly. The reason why he chose to stay in Blue Flame Star was firstly, because Blue Flame Star was a mix of crooks and honest people. There were many experts from various realms. It was naturally much safer here. The second reason was, to disrupt the situation. To disrupt Emperor Yu's plans. The transaction between Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor would allow the two superpowers to rise in power. Some things only the immortal realm had. Some things only the demon realm had. The transaction between the two sides would be a win-win situation. However, disrupting the situation was not an easy matter. Qin Yu had to make sure everything was clear before making his move. Even when the time came, Qin Yu would still use his sword immortal puppet identity. How often does their transaction happen? Qin Yu asked again. The transaction, I'm not too sure. It seems to happen once every 3 years. But it is not fixed, sometimes once every 3 years, sometimes once every 4 years. This is only hearsay. Xian Emperor, Qing Emperor, or even the Demon Realm's Black Devil Emperor, and Azura Devil Emperor, all wanted to disrupt the transaction. Qing Yan muttered to himself. AI, if we let Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor do as they please, the two sides' strength would naturally rise. Damn it, if they casually make a transaction, as long as they snatch it, the wealth would be at least 10 billion. The other immortal emperors and demon emperors are also secretly disrupting the situation. No, what do you mean by secretly? Qing Yan hurriedly said. Who in Blue Flame Star doesn't know? As long as one has a brain, they would be able to guess. But Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor's people place great importance on the transaction. There has not been any problems. Qin Yu understood. This was only Blue Flame Star's people's guess. But the possibility of it being true was still very high. Young Master Shi, why are you asking this? Could it be? Qing Yan thought of a possibility. This young Master Shi was so generous. He was most likely the young master of a super clan. Such a super clan would definitely want to make a move. Qing Yan knew, whether it was the immortal realm or the demon realm, other than the strongest Emperor Yu, Xian Emperor, Qing Emperor, Blood Devil Emperor, there were many other powerful forces, and the experts in those forces were not small. Be careful, trouble comes from careless talk. Qin Yu smiled. Qing Yan immediately laughed. He, just kidding. But Qing Yan thought to himself. Who knows, this young Master Shi and his family might really make a move to snatch the goods. Qing Yan was just a small character. How would he dare to interfere in the matters of the big powers? He was just thinking about it. Qing Yu raised his cup and drank the wine. Boss Qing Yan, I'll have to trouble you with the matter of exchanging the top-grade elemental spirit stones. Qing Yu stood up. Wanner, let's go back. Qing Yu said, and removed the sound isolation restriction. Yes, young master. Wanner quickly stood up and walked beside Qing Yu. Young Master Shi, take care. Qing Yan smiled and bowed slightly. Chapter 338. He stepped into his room in the restaurant. This room was extremely large. There were 3 rooms, a large hall and a parlor. Wanna go back to your room and rest. If there's nothing important, don't disturb me. Unless there's something important, then use your telepathy to remind me. Qin Yu said with a smile. He then pushed open the door and entered his room. Yes, young master. Wanna bowed and pouted. Seeing that Qin Yu had entered his room, Wanna muttered in a low voice. It's so rare for me to be chosen to serve master. Who would have thought that master would frequently enter his room to train? Truly boring. As she muttered, Wanna also entered her room. Pulling open the curtains, Qin Yu looked down at the crowd below from the tall building. Occasionally, he could even see some domineering experts flying in the sky. Seeing everything before him, Qin Yu began to ponder in his heart like lightning. Emperor Yu more or less knows about my background. He will definitely search for me unceasingly. However, my current strength is still far from enough. I'm also too far away from Uncle Lan's request. Not to mention completely using the Jiang Lan's realm. I can't even open the first layer right now. Qin Yu flipped his hand and took out the little green pagoda. When you're able to completely use the Jiang Lan's realm, Then you'll be able to meet Li heir. Uncle Lan's words were still faintly echoing in Qin Yu's ears. Qin Yu attempted to pour his power into the Jiang Lan's realm. Immediately, the Jiang Lan's realm emitted bursts of green light. The light gradually became brighter. Qin Yu's forehead also began to exude beads of sweat. After a while, Qin Yu gave up. Still not enough. It seems that I'm still too far away from reaching the strength of a level 5 or 6 golden immortal. Qin Yu flipped his hand and put away the Jiang Lan's realm. This Jiang Lan's realm was a test of one's strength, and not one's attack power, when combined with one's weapon. Qin Yu had to completely open the third layer of the Jiang Lan's realm in order to prove that he was qualified to meet Li heir. What level of strength did he have to reach? I don't know how long the road is. However, as long as there's hope, I will never give up. The light in Qin Yu's eyes was extremely resolute. His heart was as firm as a boulder, and would not waver in the slightest. Qin Yu closed his eyes, and familiar figures appeared in his mind. Father and the others also don't know when they will be able to ascend. Qin Yu shook his head and smiled. I don't know how Xiao He and Fei are doing in the demon realm. It'll probably take some time before I can see them. The last thing that came to Qin Yu's mind was his only disciple, Lu Hanshu. Regarding Hanshu, Qin Yu was very fond of him. Perhaps it was a similar temperament, or perhaps it was the same sacrifice. But in any case, Lu Hanshu's death made Qin Yu's heart ache. Maybe he was feeling better now, but whenever he recalled the scene of Lu Hanshu's death, Qin Yu couldn't help but feel remorse, guilt and anger. In this life, the only regret I have is her. Hanshu's last words before his death, Qin Yu would never forget. A few days before his death, Hanshu said that he fell in love with a girl. But this love would never have a result. Mysterious, Qin Yu, you only know how to act mysterious. If you had told your disciple everything earlier, told him that you have the Qin Yu immortal mansion, told him that you have the sword immortal puppet, told him that you have the 10,000 beasts atlas, how could this have happened? Qin Yu always believed that Hanshu died because of him. Everything was because of him. Emperor Yu, although Hanshu's death did not have much to do with you, it was still caused by your subordinates. I also owe that Inai Yang immortal emperor a promise. Whether it's my relationship with that stupid disciple of mine, or Inai Yang immortal emperors, it all determined the same thing. Qin Yu's face was ice cold. His whole body disappeared into thin air from the room. On the bed, there was a tiny speck of dust that was transformed from the Qin Yu immortal mansion. Qin Yu entered it and started the 9 refinements of 3 souls. To Qin Yu, this was the fastest way to cultivate the soul. The soul was divided into 3 big spaces, the human soul, the earth soul, and the heaven soul. And now, Qin Yu finally stepped into the first level of the earth soul space. The mysterious hand seals in his hands were also different from the hand seals in the human soul space. Just as his hands formed the first hand seal, Qin Yu felt that his soul power was greatly consumed. But at the same time, a stream of energy flowed out from Lu Xing's tear and merged into the earth soul space of his soul. It was very obvious. Stepping into the earth soul space, Qin Yu's absorption of the special energy in Lu Xing's tear increased significantly. Times half a month later, in the living room of Qin Yu's house, Wan Er stood obediently to the side. Qin Yu had already sat down. Boss Qin Yan, please have a seat. Qin Yu smiled indifferently. Qin Yan immediately sat opposite Qin Yu. His face was full of excitement. Young Master Shi, I have contacted a big shot through some of my old friends. He is willing to exchange 100 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones with you. The condition is that young master, Shi has to provide 10,000 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones. He does not need mid-grade and low-grade elemental spirit stones. Oh, that's quite fast. Qin Yu smiled and nodded. Very good, I agree to this. Qin Yu's total value of high-grade elemental spirit stones should be the highest. Because Qin Yu and the 10,000 Beasts Atlas army killed so many golden immortals, they mostly used high-grade elemental spirit stones for their cultivation. Therefore, most of their elemental spirit stones were high-grade elemental spirit stones. As for top-grade elemental spirit stones, These people would never use them. They would only use 1 or 2 pieces occasionally. As for mid-grade elemental spirit stones, they were too lazy to use them. I wonder when young Master Shi's 10,000 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones will be provided. Qing Yan asked with a smile. Qing Yu waved his hand, and a large pile of high-grade elemental spirit stones appeared in the living room. It took up almost a third of the living room. Such a large pile of high-grade elemental spirit stones. Qing Yan sucked in a breath of cold air. There are 10,500 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones here. You can help me exchange 10,000 pieces, and the remaining 500 pieces are yours. Qing Yu said casually. Previously, Qing Yu and Qing Yan had an agreement. For every top-grade elemental spirit stone exchanged, Qing Yu would give Qing Yan 5 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones. Qing Yan tried his best to suppress his excitement. Heavens, 10,000 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones piled together. He had never seen such a pile before. Young Master Shi, are you not afraid that I will run away with all this money? Qing Yan looked at Qing Yu and probed. 10,000 pieces of high-grade elemental spirit stones. That was 100 million. 100 million. It was enough to make people go crazy. You. Qing Yu looked at Qing Yan. Take the money according to your strength. If you take too much, it will burn your hands. There is a possibility that you will lose your life. Qing Yu raised his teacup and took a sip. Qing Yan clenched his fists a few times. Qing Yan, stay awake, stay awake. If you take that thing, you will lose your life. He repeated this to himself a few times and finally, he managed to stay awake. Young Master Shi, rest assured, I will handle this matter beautifully. Qing Yan said confidently. With Boss Qing Yan handling things, of course I am assured. Qing Yu changed the topic. Oh right, Boss Qing Yan, that Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor's transaction. When will the next one be held? Qing Yan pondered for a moment, looked at Qing Yu and laughed. I am not too sure about this, but there is one thing that I can tell young Master Shi. This Emperor Yu and the Blood Devil Emperor are both big shots. Their transactions are all open and above board. They will not be sneaky. When the time comes for the transaction, you will naturally know. Open and above board. Qing Yu thought for a while and understood. For such a huge transaction, they will definitely send out their own experts. So what if it's open and above board? Those who know the news do not have the strength to snatch it, and Qing Emperor, Xian Emperor, Black Devil Emperor, and other powers would also receive the news, even if Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor were to come secretly. Furthermore, Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor are both prideful. Why would they be sneaky? Young Master Shi, rest assured, a few days before the transaction, Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor will announce it to the outside world. Even the location of the transaction will be made public. But both sides have many experts. They are not afraid of others disrupting the transaction. Qing Yan said softly. Qing Yu's heart was filled with joy. This Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor are really arrogant to actually announce the location of the transaction in advance. Young Master Shi, let me tell you, Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor's transaction, the experts they sent out are all powerful immortal emperors. And in the dark, there are probably even more powerful experts who can snatch it successfully. Qing Yan said with a deep meaning. Qing Yan always felt that Shi Shuang was too mysterious. Who knows? He might be plotting against Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor. Qing Yan was only reminding Qing Yu now. To get involved in this mess, it is very difficult. You might even lose your life. Wait until the day of the transaction, and the location of the transaction is announced. Then tell me immediately. Qing Yu said indifferently. I am very interested in this transaction. It's not a bad idea to go and take a look. Yes, young Master Shi. Qing Yan smiled, but in his heart he was suspicious. Just take a look? The days passed quickly. Not long after, Qing Yan successfully exchanged 100 top-grade elemental spirit stones to Qing Yu, and Qing Yu quietly cultivated for 3 months. In these 3 months, Qing Yu's soul had improved greatly. Times how you restaurant's second floor. Have you heard? His Majesty Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor's transaction will be held 7 days later at Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. When the time comes, you must go and take a look. On the previous day of the transaction, there were also people who tried to cause trouble. But unfortunately, you didn't see it. You didn't see it, but I saw it. The person who tried to snatch the goods was very strong, at least of the immortal emperor level. That fight was very intense. And in the end, there were a few people who tried to take action, some died, and some escaped. 2 golden immortals chatted as they drank. Such discussions spread throughout Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. Because this news was not considered a secret, the immortals and experts of the Devil Realm did not care much about it. Similarly, Qingyu had also heard of this news 2 days ago. At this moment, Qingyu was also drinking wine by the window. Blue Fiery Cloud Inn 7 days later. I wonder how many people will try to take action. Qingyu thought to himself, and drank the wine in his cup, and looked towards the clouds. No matter what, I will definitely take action. Wanner immediately poured wine for Qingyu obediently. Times Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. This was a palace built in the clouds. The palace was divided into 3 levels, and was blue in color. The top was designed in the shape of a flame. Although the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn only had 3 levels, the area was very large, with a length and width of a few hundred meters. High up in the sky, above the huge clouds, there was a magnificent palace, Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. On the 3rd level of the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn, in an inconspicuous room, there were 2 people. One of them was dressed in green, carrying a long sword on his back, in the attire of a sword immortal. The other was dressed in a dark red robe, with a head full of snow-white hair, and eyes emitting an absolute chill. The green-robed sword immortal was the leader of the 18 immortal emperors under Emperor Yu, Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai. As a level 7 Xian Immortal Sword Immortal, his strength was probably in the top 10 in the entire immortal realm. For such strength to appear in the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn, it was definitely shocking. Because even if it was to protect goods, it was not worth a level 7 Xian Immortal appearing. The other cold man with the snow-white hair was also an incredible person. Blood Devil Emperor was undoubtedly the number 1 in the Blood Devil path. And the second was the legendary white-haired Blood Devil, Shui Lung. Similarly, he was a level 7 Devil Emperor expert. 2 super experts were gathered here. Both of them were cold people, but at this moment, the 2 of them were smiling and chatting. If people who knew them knew that Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai and white-haired Blood Devil Shui Lung were chatting and laughing like this, they would definitely be shocked. After all, these 2 people rarely smiled. Brother Ji Bai, how many years has it been since we last met? Shui Lung smiled. It's been 1,000,000 years. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai had a smile on his face. I still remember the time when we went deep into the Devil Realm to fight. If not for you, I would have been killed long ago. Recalling that scene, I still feel my blood boiling. Shui Lung smiled coldly. That time, I thought I was going to die. Who would have thought that when I was about to lose all hope, I would meet you, a fellow who was also being chased. I really didn't think that the 2 of us would survive. Ji Bai sighed. At that time, I was only a level 9 Golden Immortal, and you were about the same. Along the way, I finally broke through and became a level 1 Immortal Emperor. At the same time, I killed a level 3 Devil Emperor, 2 level 1 Devil Emperors, and countless Devil Kings. The 2 of them were immersed in their memories. That year, when they were escaping for their lives, the desperation of the battle, they were constantly on the brink of death. How could they ever forget it? This also caused the 2 of them to become friends in life and death. For Emperor Yu to be able to establish a good relationship with Blood Devil Emperor, the 2 of them played a huge role. This time, the 2 of us are joining hands again, but I don't know how many experts the Black Devil Emperor, Azura Devil Emperor, Cyan Emperor, Xian Emperor, and the other powers will send. Will it be enough for us to kill? Shui Lung laughed, and Ji Bai laughed as well. Chapter 339. Yi Lung, no matter how many people come, it won't be enough for us to kill. Ji Bai said with a smile. Shui Lung was taken aback before he laughed out. Haha, that makes sense. Brother Ji Bai, Back then when we fought together, our coordination was almost perfect. I wonder how it's like now that so many years have passed. Coordination? Jibai smiled faintly. How many people in the immortal devil and demon realm can make the two of us work together? Jibai's tone was very big. However, even if Emperor Yu and the others heard it, they would not doubt it. Because Jibai and Shui Yilong belonged to the category of profound immortals with fierce attacks and strong killing intent. They were both level 7 profound immortals. When Jibai had just stepped into the level 1 profound immortal realm, he had already killed a level 3 devil emperor in the devil realm. There was no need to doubt his attack power. Moreover, the two of them had a tacit understanding. This was something that Jibai and Shui Yilong had trained through countless life and death situations. That tacit understanding had already penetrated deep into their subconscious. Yes, with the two of us working together, even if the Black Devil Emperor came, he would not be able to do anything to us. I still remember the gift from the Black Devil Emperor that year. It's just that I still don't have the confidence to deal with him. Shui Yilong's eyes flashed with a cold light. That year, the people who chased after the two of them were the Black Devil Emperor's people. Jibai smiled faintly. You're still hung up on that? I've long forgotten. If not for the Black Devil Emperor's help, my understanding of the green blood sword arts would not be so deep. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Shui Yilong shook his head and smiled. Jibai, the deal between Emperor Yu and Our Majesty is obviously a trap to capture the enemy's experts. Only what kind of goods are in the deal? I'm not too sure about this. This time there are quite a lot of goods. In order to attract the enemy's experts, there are quite a few precious treasures in this deal. Jibai smiled faintly. You also know that for people of our level, other than treasures like divine weapons, other things are useless. Level 2 or 3 immortal emperors may still be obsessed with money, but level 6 or 7 immortal emperors do not care about such worldly things. They will think of ways to increase their attack power and increase their soul realm. To them, strength is the most important. So, in order to attract the experts this time, there is a divine weapon. Jibai said. Oh, divine weapon? Shui Yilong was shocked. Jibai smiled and nodded his head. If nothing unexpected happens, the Mystic Emperor, Cyan Emperor, and the other big shots would have already found out about this. They would definitely send experts over. Jibai, what if the Mystic Emperor, Azura Demon Emperor, and other experts personally come? Shui Yilong suddenly asked. Personally? Jibai shook his head and said, what kind of status do they have? If they really disregard their status and come to steal a batch of goods, I will order them to immediately cancel the transaction. At the same time, they will bind the divine artifact with their blood and immediately leave. I believe that with my strength, although I can't defeat them, escaping with my life shouldn't be too much of a problem. Shui Yilong sighed and nodded. Yes, if such a situation really happens, we can only do so. Yilong, the probability of that happening is too low. What we need to do now is rest. On the day of the transaction, countless people will gather at the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn, and we will prepare for a massacre. Jibai's eyes flashed with cruelty. Jibai, Emperor Yu's most terrifying killing machine. Shui Yilong, the Blood Devil path was famous for killing people, and Shui Yilong was one of the best. Two super experts who loved to kill joined hands. This time, Emperor Yu and the Blood Devil Emperor were really determined to kill the other powers until their hearts ached. After all, the previous few transactions had already caused these two giants to feel troubled. They wanted to kill the other party until they were afraid, so that they would never bother them again. Don't leave them any face. The more powerful they are, the more we must kill them. We must ensure that the future transactions are absolutely safe. This was Emperor Yu and the Blood Devil Emperor's clear orders. Time passed very slowly. Especially in anticipation, the days passed even slower. In this period of time, the number of experts gathered at the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn was increasing. Every time Emperor Yu and the Blood Devil Emperor traded, there would always be a fight and slaughter. This could already be considered as a special feature. The majority of the people came to watch the show, to watch experts of the Immortal Emperor level kill each other. Usually, When would they be able to see an immortal emperor in action? This kind of opportunity was hard to come by. Night. The cold air was oppressive. Qin Yu opened the window and looked out at the endless night sky. This night he couldn't sleep at all. Tomorrow was the day of the transaction. Tomorrow, I will make my move again. At that time, Emperor, you will most likely guess that I am at the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn, and will probably have to escape again. Qin Yu laughed at himself. With regards to escaping, Qin Yu wasn't worried at all. Whether or not his identity would be exposed tomorrow depended on the development of the situation. If Yu Qingzi and Immortal Emperor Qian Shi weren't around, and he didn't use the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, the chances of his identity being exposed would be very low. After all, others wouldn't be familiar with him. Han Shu, Yu Qingzi and Immortal Emperor Qian Shi, your master will one day kill these two to avenge you. As for now, I will get some interest. Qin Yu said slowly in his heart. His gaze turned to the endless night sky. Qin Yu just stood there. The night passed, and the sky gradually brightened. A star hung high in the sky. Today, there were many people flying in the sky above the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. Many of them were flying towards the direction of the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. Young master. Wan'er stood outside the door. She had been looking at Qin Yu for the entire night. Qin Yu took a deep breath of the cool air and turned to look at Wan'er. Wan'er, today's matter is very dangerous. You don't have to appear. Return to the 10,000 Beasts Atlas for now. Yes, young master. Wan'er bowed. She already knew this would happen. With a thought, Wan'er returned to the second layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Qin Yu separated a body from his body. It was the Sword Immortal Puppet. His soul entered the Sword Immortal Puppet, and Qin Yu kept his original body in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. To the current Qin Yu, the Sword Immortal Puppet's body was the safest. Once again changing the appearance of the Sword Immortal Puppet, Qin Yu disappeared from the window and went into the depths of the clouds. So many people. Qin Yu noticed that within a few hundred meters of him, there were 4 to 5 experts flying towards the direction of the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. Releasing his immortal awareness slightly, he discovered that a large number of experts were flying towards the inn at the same time. Brother, you're also going to the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn, right? A burly man with a chin full of green stubble flew to Qin Yu's side. I'm Lu Ba, a cultivator of the Black Devil Path in the Devil Realm. Qin Yu smiled faintly. You can call me Qin. I'm from the Silver Stream Galaxy. Silver Stream Galaxy? That's the territory of the immortals. Looks like Brother Qin is an immortal. Hee, I like to make friends. If Brother Qin doesn't mind, let's go to the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn together. Lu Ba was very friendly and was very enthusiastic. Qin Yu smiled and nodded. The two of them continued on their journey. Their flying speed was not fast. After all, there was still some time before the trade fair began. Brother Qin, when we reach the Blue Fiery Cloud Inn, we have to hide far away. Lu Ba reminded. I've been to this trade fair twice. Once I almost lost my life. Involved the innocent? Qin Yu asked curiously. Lu Ba nodded, his heart still beating fast. Brother Qin, you haven't seen it before, right? This is my first time on the Blue Fiery Cloud. Qin Yu said honestly. Lu Ba was obviously more experienced than Qin Yu. Brother Qin, you're stronger than me, but you shouldn't be at the level of an immortal emperor or a devil emperor, right? When it's time for the trade fair, those who really dare to rob and mess things up are usually at the level of an immortal emperor or a devil emperor. Brother Qin, you haven't seen it before, so you don't know. When experts of that level kill, even a strand of sword chi unintentionally is fatal to us. Lu Ba sighed. But sometimes even if you stay far away, it's useless. They will kill and fly. Who knows, they might fly to your side in an instant. The energy they emit will affect you, and you'll be finished. Then why are you still here, Lu Ba? Qin Yu asked in return. Qin Yu could imagine everything that Lu Ba said. Experts at the level of an immortal emperor or a devil emperor would kill each other. He could imagine how terrifying the scene would be. After all, experts at the level of an immortal emperor could destroy an entire planet with one sword strike. Lu Ba said helplessly. Cultivating on my own is too slow. Watching experts at the level of an immortal emperor or a devil emperor kill each other can give me some insight. Also, it's rare to see an immortal emperor or a devil emperor kill each other. Qin Yu nodded. Experts at the level of a mortal emperor or a devil emperor's understanding of heaven and earth was already at a very high level. It was even called a domain. When Qin Yu fought with Yu Qingzi, even though Qin Yu was very fast and launched a sneak attack without any regard for his life, Yu Qingzi was unable to block it. For some reason, Yu Qingzi was able to block Qin Yu's divine sword attack. Qin Yu attacked a few times, but his divine sword could not get close to his opponent's body. Qin Yu could see that Yu Qingzi's sword attack speed was not fast. Why was it that he was able to block it every time, and even send him flying? This was the profoundness of it all, just that the current Qin Yu could not feel it. As they talked, the two finally saw the blue fiery cloud in the distance. Above the clouds, sunlight reflected off the blue fiery cloud making everyone feel the brightness of the blue fiery cloud Greetings, laughter, curses. All sorts of sounds came from the direction of the blue fiery cloud It was very noisy. Qin Yu could not help but frown. After flying for a while, Qin Yu saw that the clouds surrounding the blue fiery cloud were densely packed with people. There are at least a few 100,000, or even 1,000,000 people here. Lu Ba said with certainty. Over 1,000,000 is possible. Qin Yu looked at the sea of people above the clouds and said, there were too many people here. In fact, this was not much. After all, there were too many people in the immortal, devil and demon realm. Any galaxy could gather so many people. Even heavenly immortals, no Kongming stage cultivators are here? Lu Ba's gaze swept across and could not help but sigh. Qin Yu's gaze swept across and saw many heavenly immortals. There were even a few cultivators who had rushed over. These cultivators mostly followed their elders to watch. A cultivator watching an immortal emperor's battle? If there was an accident, it would be too late to escape. But for a cultivator to be able to watch an immortal emperor's battle, it was something to be proud of. Lu Ba, do we enter the blue fiery cloud or do we stay outside like so many people? Qin Yu asked. Lu Ba laughed. Brother Qin, enter the blue fiery cloud You must be joking. Look at how many people there are in the blue fiery cloud Qin Yu spread out his immortal sense. Just as it spread out, Qin Yu could not help but tremble. Experts, so many experts. Qin Yu immediately retracted his immortal sense. Just now, when he spread out his immortal sense, it did not attract the attention of those super experts. It was mainly because they sensed that the immortal sense was only of a level 2 golden immortal, so they did not pay much attention to it. They also thought that Qin Yu would not be able to discover them. Qin Yu pretended to casually glance to the left. Over 400 meters to the left stood a white-clothed woman and an earth-yellow-clothed man. The two of them were unremarkable in the large group of people. However, because of the meteoric tear, Qin Yu was able to sense that these two people were definitely stronger than Yu Qingzi. Immortal Emperor-level experts. Qin Yu glanced at a tall, thin, and indifferent man in front of him. Devil Emperor-level expert. Qin Yu could not be sure of the other party's strength, but he was sure that the other party was definitely a huge threat to him. And not far from the tall, thin, and indifferent man was a cool young man. An even more terrifying Devil Emperor-level expert. Qin Yu's heart trembled. God, it was rare to see an immortal emperor or a devil emperor. But today, he had only released a portion of his immortal sense. It did not even cover the entire area, but he had already discovered so many immortal emperors and devil emperors. No wonder so many people were gathered here. Most of them were probably here to admire the scene of the immortal emperors and devil emperors fighting. Big brother Luo Yu, fly steadily. A very clear voice rang out not far behind Qin Yu. Qin Yu could not help but turn back to look. He saw a dispirited young man flying leisurely. Beside him was a very cute girl with big eyes that were very attractive. Qin Yu saw this cute girl and had a good impression of her. Two more immortal emperor-level experts. Qin Yu was speechless. Even this dispirited young man and this cute girl were immortal emperor-level experts. Lu Ba, how many immortal emperors and devil emperors were there the last time? Qin Yu asked Lu Ba. Lu Ba replied excitedly. There were 4 immortal emperors and devil emperors. I have lived for so many years, but I have only seen immortal emperors and devil emperors in blue fiery cloud inn. I have never seen them anywhere else. Qingyu was shocked. There were only 4 immortal emperors the last time, but this time, his immortal sense had only covered a portion of the area, and he had already discovered so many immortal emperors and devil emperors. This time, the transaction between Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor seems to be different from the previous ones. There are actually so many immortal emperor and devil emperor experts. Qingyu looked at the sea of people around him and couldn't help but think of a scene. Once the fight started, how many of the millions of onlookers would be killed? Chapter 340. The clouds surrounding the blue fiery cloud and were filled with people. There were people from the immortal realm, experts from the devil realm, and even some from the demon realm. In short, it was a mix of good and bad people. At the same time, it was extremely noisy. Trade. These onlookers did not care about that. The trade between Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor was just a matter of time. Who would be curious about that? Most of them were waiting for the big battle. Immortal emperors, devil emperors, these kind of emperor-level experts would fight and kill. Brother Qin, don't be anxious. Seeing Qingyu looking around, Lu Ba laughed and said, "It's meaningless now. Let's wait patiently. As long as an immortal emperor or devil emperor expert makes a move, the whole place will be in chaos. All the experts will appear one after another." As he said that, Lu Ba actually sat cross-legged on a cloud. Although there were many people, the space in the air was limitless. Most people would stay 5 to 6 meters away from each other. "Lu Ba, I'll sit down and wait too." Qingyu smiled as he sat cross-legged on the cloud. He did not explain that he was looking around for the immortal emperors and devil emperors. Qingyu and Lu Ba sat down. Not far behind Qingyu, the slightly dispirited youth and the big-eyed girl also sat down cross-legged. "Brother Luoyu, don't be rash this time. There are many experts in blue fiery cloud inn," the big-eyed girl said as she pulled on Brother Luoyu's shoulder. This Brother Luoyu was very handsome, but there was a hint of melancholy in the depths of his eyes. He looked slightly dispirited. "Yen'er, don't worry. I know what I'm doing." This big Brother Luoyu spoke in a soft and gentle voice, but when he finished speaking, he glanced at the blue fiery cloud inn. His eyes had a tinge of coldness. Yen'er blinked her big eyes and sighed helplessly. Suddenly, she saw Qingyu from the side. Her eyes lit up and she flew over. "Hi, how are you? I'm Jiang Yen." This Yen'er blinked her big eyes at Qingyu. Qingyu was slightly taken aback. "Brother Qin, you know this Miss Jiang Yen?" Lu Ba asked from the side. "No, this is the first time I've seen her," Qingyu replied. He then looked at Jiang Yen and smiled. "Hello Miss Jiang Yen, have you seen me before?" Jiang Yen giggled and said, "No, I haven't seen you before. Today is the first time I've seen you. I thought you were pleasing to the eye, so I came to talk to you. Am I not welcome?" Qingyu subconsciously liked this girl called Jiang Yen. He felt that this Jiang Yan's temperament was genuine and not pretentious. However, he knew that Jiang Yen and that Brother Luoyu were both immortal emperor-level experts and were much stronger than him. Why wouldn't you welcome her? "Miss Jiang Yen, you?" Qingyu pointed at the dispirited man. "Ah." Jiang Yen turned around and cried out in shock. Then, she immediately looked at Qingyu apologetically and said, "I'm sorry, Brother Luoyu drank again. I'm going to accompany him. Let's talk again next time." With that, Jiang Yen flew to the side of Brother Luoyu. "Brother Luoyu, didn't I tell you not to drink anymore? Drink all day, drink all day." Jiang Yen snatched the wine jug from the hands of Brother Luoyu. This Brother Luoyu only smiled indifferently and did not resist. Brother Luoyu glanced at Qingyu and then looked at Jiang Yen with a rare smile. "Yen, it's rare to see you greet people. Usually, you don't care about men at all." Jun Luoyu was puzzled. He knew how much his sister Jiang Yen disdained men. Don't talk about ordinary golden immortals. Even the immortal emperor-level experts that Jun Luoyu knew, this Jiang Yen did not care at all. Of course, Jiang Yen had the ability to do so. Although Jiang Yen was only a level 1 mystic immortal, Her cultivation technique was special and mysterious. Moreover, she had an extremely powerful master behind her. Jiang Yan, who did not care about men in the past, actually took the initiative to greet men today. This made Jun Luoyu shocked. Don't care about men? What are you saying? Haven't I always been following you? Jiang Yan pouted. Jun Luoyu smiled bitterly. Jiang Yan liked Jun Luoyu, and even wanted Jun Luoyu to be her husband. Jun Luoyu knew this. But Jun Luoyu already had her in his heart, even if she was dead. Therefore, Jun Luoyu only treated Jiang Yan as his sister. But Jiang Yan would never admit that she was Jun Luoyu's sister. Yan my heart is already dead. Why do you have to? Jun Luoyu smiled bitterly. Jiang Yan had a powerful master behind her. And he was also a level 1 mystic immortal. Even immortal emperor experts would become Dao companions. Why do I have to suffer? As long as I'm by your side, I'm happy. Jiang Yan's face revealed a sweet smile. She actually did not care about Jun Luoyu's heartlessness. Jun Luoyu sighed. With a flip of his hand, another jug of wine poured into his mouth. You're still drinking. Just as he took a sip, it was snatched away by Jiang Yan. Moreover, she stared at Jun Luoyu with a fierce gaze. Jun Luoyu was startled. Shortly after, he smiled faintly and sat cross-legged on the clouds. Jiang Yan looked at Qingyu and wanted to fly over to Qingyu to talk. But she frowned and stayed by Jun Luoyu's side. Jiang Yan had a good impression of Qingyu, but she was worried about her brother Luoyu. Time passed. Almost all the experts were sitting on the clouds and waiting. To experts, waiting for a few hours was nothing. It was also a kind of tempering of the mind. Lu Ba, when was the last time the Immortal Emperor and Devil Emperor killed each other? Qingyu asked Lu Ba. He had also noticed the conversation between Jun Luoyu and Jiang Yan. He could more or less guess some things. Lu Ba looked at the sky and nodded. The last time was around noon. Now it's almost noon. Probably soon. Qingyu looked up at the sun and did not say much. From the corner of his eyes, he noticed a few Emperor-level experts. As for how many Emperor-level experts were around the blue fiery cloud inn, Qingyu did not dare to be too arrogant. Those experts were all waiting quietly. They were not anxious at all. After a while, all the guests on the first floor of the blue fiery cloud inn, please leave. An earth-shattering voice reverberated across thousands of li. In an instant, the noise of over 1 million people disappeared. It was dead silent. Isn't there 3 floors in the blue fiery cloud inn? Last time, only the second and third floor were forbidden. Why is it that this time, even the first floor is forbidden? Lu Ba, who was familiar with the previous situations, muttered. Qingyu frowned slightly. He looked at the middle-aged man standing at the highest point. Especially when he heard Lu Ba's muttering, Qingyu had a strange feeling. It seemed like this transaction was different from the past. Immortal Emperor Ai Shao, don't tell me that the first floor is also forbidden? There may be a sneak attack on the second floor. But on the first floor, there's a second floor in between. There shouldn't be much of a problem. A deep voice came from the first floor of the blue fiery cloud inn. Hearing that, it was obvious that the middle-aged man was Immortal Emperor Ai Shao. Immortal Emperor Ai Shao said indifferently, those who defy will be defying Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor. If you die, don't blame me for not warning you. With that, Immortal Emperor Ai Shao flew back to the third floor. A commotion broke out. The immortals and devil experts in the blue fiery cloud and walked out one by one. Facing such a blatant threat, these experts knew when to advance and when to retreat. The transaction is about to begin. Jun Luoyu said softly. His melancholy eyes began to focus. The decadent aura around him gradually disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by a faint aura of sharpness. With the blue fiery cloud inn as the epicenter, thousands of li of space became oppressive. Everyone quietened down. As long as one was not an idiot, one could feel that something big was about to happen. There are so many experts, I'm not in a hurry. Qingyu glanced at the few Immortal Emperor and Devil Emperor experts not far away. He licked his lips lightly, his entire being calm. Times who? A strange sound rang out. Then in an instant, with the blue fiery cloud inn as the epicenter, The entire area was in a state of absolute silence. Even the air seemed to have disappeared. Not good, Brother Qin, retreat quickly. Lu Ba says via holy sense. At the same time, he pulls Qin Yu and flies away at top speed. Qin Yu also flies away together with Lu Ba. Not only Lu Ba, but all the experts were also retreating from the blue fiery cloud in. Xiao. An extremely thin beam of light descended from the sky, directly striking the top of the blue fiery cloud in. Even Qin Yu, who was 100 li away from the inn, could clearly feel the air being pierced through by the lightning. Pung. Chi chi. Countless lightning bolts spread out with the blue fiery cloud in as the epicenter. Streaks of lightning snaked through the air at an extremely fast speed. Those who were as weak as immortals would be incinerated the moment they came near. In a blink of an eye, over 10,000 spectators were killed. Someone actually dares to cause trouble for His Majesty's important matter. The person who caused trouble just now had better show yourself. How can you live up to your status with such cowardice? 6 figures stood at the top of the blue fiery cloud in. Among the 6, there were 4 men and 2 women. The one who spoke just now was a middle-aged man. These 6 people belonged to Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor respectively. They were all Immortal Emperor and Devil Emperor experts. Emperor Yu's side had 3 Immortal Emperors. Zhou Yu Ai Xiao, Duo Mi Blood Devil Emperor's side had 3 Devil Emperors. Pian Yi, He and I Kawa. Duo Mi and He and I were females, while the other 4 were males. Haha, so what if I show myself? A dark and skinny old man suddenly appeared in the air. It's you. The leader of Emperor Yu's side, Immortal Emperor Zhou Yu, frowned slightly. Dao brother Wuya, from what I know, you're focused on your cultivation. Why are you interfering in the transaction between His Majesty Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor? Immortal Emperor Wuya, also known as Immortal Emperor Crow, belonged to the category of an evil person. His cultivation wasn't high, only a level 3 Immortal Emperor. However, his array techniques were extremely powerful. This Immortal Emperor, Wuya, didn't belong to any side. He was a lone ranger. His appearance today had surprised Zhou Yu. I'm here because someone told me that there's a divine equipment in this transaction. Immortal Emperor Wuya's skinny old face had a trace of a smile. Divine equipment. The millions of spectators from afar widened their eyes and sucked in a breath of cold air. Divine equipment? Even if it was an Immortal Emperor, only the elites amongst the Immortal Emperors could obtain a divine equipment. Not only did they have to be strong, they also had to have good luck. Divine equipment. Immortal Emperor Zhou Yu smiled indifferently. Yes, there's a divine equipment in this transaction. If you want it, come at me. Immortal Emperor Wuya smiled mysteriously. But I suddenly don't want it anymore. Goodbye. After saying that, Immortal Emperor Wuya flew away with extreme speed. This caused countless spectators to be astonished. Immortal Emperor Wuya cursed in his heart. What level is the hidden expert? A level 6 Immortal Emperor, or a level 7 Immortal Emperor? Just now, the hidden attack in my restriction was actually broken by him so easily. Times, this crow can be considered to know his place. I'll spare his life. Elang, take a look. This top-grade immortal equipment is really special. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai held an extremely small black nail in his hand. This small black nail looked ordinary. However, it was hidden in the lightning and struck down. This black nail, combined with the power of the seal, was enough to break the seal of the blue fiery cloud in. The blue fiery cloud in was jointly established by Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor. If it was broken, it would be a loss of face for the 2 giants. Hence, Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai had no choice but to take action. This also allowed Immortal Emperor Wuya to know the strength of the hidden expert. Towards Immortal Emperor Wuya, who did not belong to any faction, killing or not killing him made no difference. Someone's making a move. White Hair Blood Devil Xue Yileng suddenly said. Hong. Almost at the same time as Xue Yileng's words, an explosion sounded. Haha. Hand over the item. Just the few of you, and you want to stop me? Loud laughter accompanied the explosion. A tall and skinny figure was covered in flames. Immortal Emperor Zhou Yu and Devil Emperor Pian Yi's faces changed. Devil Emperor Lai Claw, a subordinate of Black Devil Emperor, a level 4 Devil Emperor expert. Devil Emperor Pian Yi transmitted to the surrounding people. Devil Emperor Lai Claw laughed coldly in his heart. The strongest of the two sides are around level 3 Devil Emperors. So what if there's someone in the dark? This time, with so many Emperor-level experts joining hands, how can you withstand it? Devil Emperor Lai Claw was very confident. Who? Devil Emperor Lai Claw's long robe fluttered. The surging flames were like water from a dam, pouring out in torrents in all directions. Instantly, countless onlookers were frightened and ran for their lives. Devil Emperor Lai Claw raised his hands and pressed down. Immediately, the surrounding 10 li of space seemed to have stopped. Immortal Emperor Zhou Yu, Devil Emperor Pian Yi, and the others all felt the space around them being imprisoned. Their speed dropped to an extreme level. The hidden expert is still not coming out? Then I'll force you out. Devil Emperor Lai Claw's hands suddenly turned into claws. At the same time, a red light seeped out from his skin, covering his fingers. Chapter 341. The reason why Demon Emperor Lai Claw was called Demon Emperor Lai Claw was because he had a set of extremely profound and powerful claw attacks. Die! Demon Emperor Lai Claw laughed strangely. His hands formed into claws and attacked the weakest Immortal Emperor Duomi. But Immortal Emperor Zhou Yu quickly rushed forward. Brother Pian Yi, let's go together. A voice sounded in Demon Emperor Pian Yi's mind. With Immortal Emperor Zhou Yu and Demon Emperor Pian Yi's understanding of heaven and earth, although they could not break the other's domain with their own, they could at least minimize the effect of the other's domain. A series of explosions sounded in the air. Dozens of miles away, a circle of spectators formed. These people came from all over the immortal, devil and demon realm, and their cultivation levels were not high. They were trying their best to observe the battle. A battle between immortal and demon emperors. Ordinary immortals would not be able to see it in their entire lives. Careful! Someone shouted in panic. Whoosh! A claw-shaped energy spread out from the battlefield, and in a blink of an eye, it reached the crowd of spectators. Immediately, a large group of people ran away in panic. Explosive sounds rang out one after another. Just a single claw-shaped chi force had clawed several tens of people to death. Their corpses exploded, and their blood dyed the clouds red. The spectators could not help but retreat further away. If one wanted to see a battle between immortal and demon emperors, one should be prepared to die. Brother Qin, let's retreat further, it's not safe here. Lu Ba saw dozens of people around him were pierced by the energy sword, and could not help but feel afraid. He hurriedly said to Qin Yu. Qin Yu replied, Stand behind me, I'll guarantee your safety. Lu Ba was stunned, and thought to himself, could this brother Qin be a super expert? Level 8 or 9 Golden Immortal? The energy attacks of immortal and demon emperors were only a threat to the weaker Golden Immortals, and weaker. To level 8 or 9 Golden Immortals, it was nothing. Lu Ba silently stood behind Qin Yu. Times in the vicinity of the blue fiery cloud inn. Only Demon Emperor Lai Claw was fighting 1 against 2. It was just that Demon Emperor Lai Claw could only fight to a draw. Demon Emperor Lai Claw was getting anxious. Damn it Tongzi, why aren't you attacking? Boy. Demon Emperor Pian Yi and the others were shocked. He and I was the only female among the 3 demon emperors sent by the Blood Devil Emperor. At this moment, Hini's phoenix eyes were wide open as she stared at the dark green saber at her waist in disbelief. Hiss. Slowly drawing out the Bai blade, the blade produced a chilling sound as it rubbed against Hini's body. Once the blade was drawn out, Hini's body fell. The person holding the jade blade was a cool young man. Jade Blade Boy. Devil Emperor Pian Yi was shocked. Compared to Demon Emperor Lai Claw, Jade Blade Boy was even more terrifying. Jade Blade Boy was one of the 3 great emperors of the demon realm. Azura Demon Emperor's subordinate. His strength had even stepped into the realm of a 6th-level demon emperor. A single Jade Blade Boy could definitely kill all of these people. Jade Blade Boy grabbed Hini's spatial ring. The divine artifact isn't inside. Jade Blade Boy frowned, and looked at Demon Emperor Lai Claw. Lai Claw, I'll remind you one last time. I don't like people calling me boy. You can call me Jade Blade Boy or Jade Blade Azura. Jade Blade Boy said indifferently to Demon Emperor Lai Claw, who was not far away. After speaking, Jade Blade Boy transformed into a jade green light and charged towards the other immortal emperors. Haha, Jade Blade Boy, let me lend you a hand. Loud laughter rang out as another figure soared into the sky. The people of the demon realm are full of nonsense. If you want to kill, then kill. Another cool middle-aged man broke through the sky. This was an extremely powerful immortal emperor. One expert after another arrived. Seeing this scene, Yu could not help but smile. Looks like it's getting more and more interesting. This time, there are indeed more immortal emperors and demon emperors than I found. Yu found 6 immortal emperors and demon emperors, including Demon Emperor Lai Claw, Jade Blade Boy, the white-clothed woman, the yellow-clothed man, Jun Luoyu and Jiang Yan. Suddenly, a white brilliance covered hundreds of li. At the same time, a yellow brilliance also spread out. The two brilliances began to intertwine, and 2 figures appeared in the sky. It was the white-clothed woman and yellow-clothed man that Yu found. Xianhuang dual swords! Exclamations rang out. The Xianhuang dual swords under Emperor Qing, one of the 3 immortal emperors. The husband and wife were both level 5 Xian emperors, but once they joined forces, they were definitely comparable to a level 6 immortal emperor. There was no need to talk about their strength. On Emperor Yu's side, there were only level 3 Xian immortal emperor Zhou Yu, demon emperor Pianyi, and 3 other weaker immortal emperors and demon emperors. They were here to snatch the divine artifact. They came from various factions, but without a doubt, the weakest was a level 3 immortal emperor. The strongest was a level 6 immortal emperor like Jade Blade Boy. There were more than 8 of them. The strong and the weak were clear. TSK, there are so many experts today. Brother Jibai, do you think it's enough for us to kill? White hair poured down like a waterfall. A level 3 immortal emperor was directly swept by the white hair and died on the spot. White hair blood devil Xue Yiling killed an immortal emperor the moment he appeared. White hair blood devil. Jade Blade Boy's face also changed. In the devil realm, there were not many who could defeat Jade Blade Boy. On Blood Devil Emperor's side, only Blood Devil Emperor himself, and White Hair Blood Devil made him feel unsure. Who would have thought that he would meet White Hair Blood Devil Xue Yiling today? Jibai. Xianhuang Dual Sword's husband and wife heard White Hair Blood Devil's words, and their faces also changed. There were many people called Jibai, but to be able to make White Hair Blood Devil Xue Yiling call him Jibai so affectionately, there was probably only Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai. Sword light flashed. Demon Emperor Lai Claw's eyes widened, and then his whole body fell down. After falling for a while, his whole body exploded with a hong sound. Not even his bones were left. Enough for us to kill? Barely enough. Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai also appeared beside White Hair Blood Devil Xue Yiling. A level 7 Immortal Emperor, a level 7 Devil Emperor. 2 super experts who were similarly bloodthirsty. Once they appeared, everyone on the scene stopped fighting. A formless pressure began to spread, and even the over 1 million spectators 100 li away did not dare to make a sound. Jade Blade Boy, Xianhuang Dual Swords, 2 immortal emperors, and a devil emperor stood on the same side. Jade Blade Boy, I just found out that you were looking for a divine weapon. Let me tell you. This divine weapon is in my spatial ring. If you have the ability, come and take it. Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai said indifferently. Jade Blade Boy held his jade blade, but did not say anything. It's a trap. The husband of the Xianqing Dual Swords, Huang Yi, laughed bitterly. I didn't think that Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor would dare to be so ruthless, wanting to kill us in one fell swoop to intimidate everyone. Jade Blade Boy and the Xianqing Dual Swords did not dare to act rashly. There were countless sword chi floating in the air. This was Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai's domain. If they acted rashly, the Green Blood Sword Immortal's fatal strike would appear. Moreover, other than the Green Blood Sword Immortal, there was also the equally terrifying White Hair Blood Devil Xue Yiling. Jade Blade Boy and the Xianhuang Dual Swords, which one do you want? Xue Yiling looked at Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai. Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai said indifferently, Jade Blade Boy. Then I'll take the Xianhuang Dual Swords. Shui Yiling sneered. In the eyes of these two, only Jade Blade Boy and the Xianhuang dual swords were a threat. As for the other three immortal emperors and devil emperors, killing them was just a matter of raising their hands. Times a trap, so it was a trap. Qin Yu had not made a move the entire time. His gaze was fixed on the green-blooded sword immortal and the white-haired blood devil in the distance. This Emperor Yu and the Blood Devil Emperor want to intimidate everyone once and for all so that the future transactions will be safe. Seeing this scene, Qin Yu completely understood Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor's plan. Emperor Yu. This transaction was established with the help of Jade Sword School's Yu Dian. My foolish disciple's death, tracing back to the root cause, this Yu Dian. Since he helped you establish a relationship, then I'll destroy it. Qin Yu's sword immortal puppets' 9 top-grade elemental holy stones were just exchanged. Just as green blood sword immortal Ji Bai and white hair blood devil Shui Yileng were about to make a move. Puchi. A rusty long sword pierced through the abdomen of Blood Devil Emperor's Devil Emperor Carboxwell, directly piercing through his yuanying. Hearing Devil Emperor Carboxwell's dying scream, everyone was stunned and couldn't help but look over. Jun Luoyu. Green blood sword immortal was stunned. Genius immortal Emperor Jun Luoyu, a legend of the immortal realm. Jun Luoyu cultivated from the immortal realm to the second-level mystic immortal realm, and the time he used was not even 1,000 years. In a few hundred years, he cultivated to the second-level immortal emperor realm. Genius. A genius among geniuses. Blood Devil Emperor's lackey, I must kill him. Jun Luoyu slowly said, his gaze fixed on white-hair Blood Devil Shui Yileng. Jun Luoyu was only a second-level immortal emperor. The gap between him and Shui Yileng was too big. But under Jun Luoyu's gaze, Shui Yileng's face revealed a bitter smile. Luoyu, why do you have to do this? If you want to kill me, then do it. Jun Luoyu indifferently said. But whether you can kill me, that will depend on your ability. White hair blood devil Shui Yileng shook his head. Alright, don't be so crazy, okay? If this goes on, no one will be able to protect you. I can bear with it, but His Majesty will kill you in a fit of anger. Don't talk to me about him. Jun Luoyu's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. I won't kill him, but I will make him regret what he did. Luoyu, white hair blood devil just said a few words. Suddenly, a violent white wave with the white-haired blood devil Shui Yileng, as the center instantly engulfed the 2 immortal emperors and 1 devil emperor standing beside Jade Blade Boy. All that could be seen was a sea of red rolling within the white wave. In the blink of an eye, 2 immortal emperors and 1 devil emperor died on the spot. Who? Jade Blade Boy and the Xianhuang double swords were shocked, but they didn't dare to move, because green blood sword immortal Ji Bai's immortal sense had completely locked onto them. Whether it was Jade Blade Boy or the Xianhuang double swords, they didn't have the confidence to block the green blood sword immortal's heaven-shocking sword. In terms of single attack, green blood sword immortal Ji Bai was stronger than white hair blood devil Shui Yileng. In terms of group attack, Yileng, you far surpass me. A level 4 immortal emperor, a level 3 immortal emperor, and a level 3 devil emperor. Even if I wanted to kill them, it would take me a while. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai sighed. Ji Bai, don't say such things. If we were to fight, I would definitely lose to you, this I know. Shui Yileng laughed coldly. With 1 sword, heaven and earth split. Jun Luoyu, genius immortal emperor. This is the first time I've seen you, but I've long heard of your great name. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai looked at Jun Luoyu, but halfway through his words, Jade Blade Boy and the Xianhuang double swords moved at the same time. Always south, always north. They did not teleport, because the surrounding space was filled with endless sword chi. Teleporting at this time was simply courting death. They were waiting for an opportunity, waiting until now to suddenly escape. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai, who was talking to Jun Luoyu, turned cold, his hand holding the sword hilt on his back. Unsheath the sword. The sword shadow pierced through the air. A green sword light that was only a finger wide appeared in front of Jade Blade Boy, as if it had teleported. Ah! A wild roar was heard, Jade Blade Boy's skin was covered with countless blood spots. His expression was incomparably malevolent. The jade blade in his hand fiercely blocked the attack. Pooh! Fresh blood spurted out from Jade Blade Boy's mouth. At the same time, the surface of his skin cracked open, blood flowing out. But no matter what, Jade Blade Boy blocked the attack. However, the same green sword light appeared in front of Jade Blade Boy. Green blood sword Immortal Jibai's face carried a mocking sneer. Even an ordinary level 7 Immortal Emperor would not be able to survive against him, let alone Jade Blade Boy. Blocking one attack was Jade Blade Boy's luck. But blocking two attacks? Was it possible? Jade Blade Boy's heart was already filled with despair. Green blood sword Immortal is too strong. Jade Blade Boy gave up resisting in his heart. Quickly leave. A voice suddenly sounded in Jade Blade Boy's mind, only to see a youth directly blocking in front of Jade Blade Boy, using his own body to block the green blood sword Immortal's attack. Thank you, Senior. Jade Blade Boy transmitted his thanks. At the same time, he hurriedly fled. Qin Yu's body withstood the attack. His entire body was sent flying like Lu Xing. Qin Yu laughed in his heart. Senior? This Jade Blade Boy actually called me Senior? Qin Yu did not use the energy of the top grade elemental spirit stone to counteract the impact. Instead, he allowed himself to be sent flying. Not good. Qin Yu felt his entire body instantly go numb. This was a feeling he had never felt before. When he carefully examined the sword Immortal Puppet's body, at the place where the sword light hit its back, there was a wound. Blood was dripping down. The inside of the sword Immortal Puppet was like a body of flesh. Only the Dantian had the 9-9 origin spirit formation. Qin Yu's mind went blank. The sword Immortal Puppet's body can be destroyed? Uncle Lan lied to me? Chapter 342. The sword Immortal Puppet was created by Uncle Lan using his divine ability. Qin Yu did not know how the sword Immortal Puppet was created, but he knew one thing. When his soul fused with the sword Immortal Puppet, the puppet's body was like his own. The only difference between the sword Immortal Puppet and a normal body was that the energy source was the 9x9 spirit array. When the sword Immortal Puppet was injured, it would also bleed. This was the first time the sword Immortal Puppet had bled, but it gave Qin Yu an unprecedented shock. From the mortal realm to the immortal devil and demon realm, the sword Immortal Puppet's body was tough and did not disappoint Qin Yu. Even on Amber Moon Star, the sword Immortal Puppet's body was not injured. This time, the sword Immortal Puppet was injured. The wind whistled. Qin Yu took the attack of the sword Immortal Puppet head-on. Like Lu Xing, he was sent flying towards the east, shuttling through the clouds. Qin Yu did not care how far he flew. He only cared about his sword Immortal Puppet. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji, Bai is a level 7 Immortal Emperor Sword Immortal. His attack power is much stronger than Immortal Emperor Qian Qi's. Although Immortal Emperor Qian Qi could not break through the sword Immortal Puppet's defense, it does not mean that the Green Blood Sword Immortal could not. At this moment, Qin Yu calmed down. On the Amber Moon planet, he had once used the soul-searching technique on a third-generation disciple of the Jade Sword School, a level 8 Golden Immortal. That Golden Immortal's memories naturally included the green-blooded sword Immortal Ji Bai, a super expert whose name had spread far and wide. Now the most important thing is to repair the sword Immortal Puppet's body. Although this wound does not affect me much, but the enemy can use it to attack me. Qin Yu could not help but use the energy from the top-grade elemental spirit stone to repair the wound. Generally speaking, when the body is injured, it can be healed with energy. Qin Yu also treated the sword Immortal Puppet as if it was a normal body. When the energy entered the wound, Qin Yu found that the wound was shrinking at an extremely slow speed. The wound wriggled, and traces of muscle cells grew out. Effective. Using energy could indeed repair the wound, but the speed of recovery was just too slow. When the energy of the 9 top-grade spirit essence stones was exhausted, Qin Yu discovered that the wound had only recovered about 1/10 of its original size. Qin Yu frowned. At this rate, he would need at least 90 top-grade elemental spirit stones to completely heal his wounds. This was a price that even the current Qin Yu was unable to bear. Right, there is another way. Qin Yu suddenly thought of a possibility. Times within 1,000 li radius of blue fiery cloud in, it was dead silent. Most of the people could hear their own nervous heartbeats. Above blue fiery cloud in, the white-haired blood devil Shui Yiling's aura completely enveloped the Xianhuang dual swords couple. The Xianhuang dual swords couple did not even dare to move. They just stored up their immortal elemental energy and prepared to unleash their strongest attack. Jun Luoyu stood there, occasionally glancing coldly at Devil Emperor Pian Yi. On the other hand, Immortal Emperor Jibai frowned. Jibai, what's wrong? Shui Yiling asked curiously. Jibai's eyes were filled with disbelief. You might not have seen it when you blocked the Xianhuang dual swords, but someone actually blocked my sword. Although it was not my full strength, it was at least 80% of my strength. He actually used his body to block it. Impossible, Shui Yiling said without hesitation. Just now, Qin Yu blocked the sword light in a split second. Those who were weaker could not even see Qin Yu's lightning-fast figure, even with their eyes wide open. I also thought it was impossible, but everything just happened in front of my eyes. It's really unbelievable. If he used a weapon to block it, I would not be too surprised. But he used his body to block it, and he is not dead. Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai's mind was completely focused on that mysterious person. Shui Yiling was also silent. The Xianhuang dual swords couple by Yi and Huang Yi, their relationship was very good. They had been together since the Yuanying period, and spent 1,000,000 years together. At this time, they did not want to separate. White-hair blood devil Shui Yiling was very strong, but the Xianhuang dual swords couple was not as easy to kill as those level 3 or 4 immortal or devil emperors. White-hair blood devil only had the confidence to kill one of them, but to kill both of them, he did not have the confidence. So, Shui Yiling was waiting for Jibai. Wife, you should leave quickly. This Jibai is still in shock. We only need to face Shui Yiling. I can use my secret technique to block him for a while. You should leave quickly. Huang Yi transmitted. Bai Yi looked at her husband. Brother Yi, don't forget the vow from that year. Huang Yi also looked at his wife. Their gazes met. Everything was understood without words. That year, two young people in their 20s, under the setting sun, made a vow to hold hands, grow old together. In the many life and death situations, they had never separated. How many years had it been? Their feelings had already seeped into their souls. But this time, they did not have any confidence. White-hair blood devil Shui Yiling and green blood sword immortal Jibai were not people they could fight against. There was no chance of survival. I have long heard of the two's combined ultimate technique. If they were to fight to the death, they would be able to heavily injure me. Sigh, in terms of individual attacks, I am still not as good as Jibai. Shui Yiling felt helpless. He could only lock his immortal sense on the opponent, and a huge aura spread out. Once the two moved, he would attack. He was now waiting for the green blood sword immortal Jibai. Jibai, don't think about it. Quickly kill the Xianhuang dual swords couple. Shui Yiling was a little anxious. Jibai pondered for a moment, then raised his head and let out a long sigh. I never thought that there would be such an expert in this world. After saving Jade Blade Boy from my sword, he disappeared so suddenly. I couldn't find any trace of him. Jade Blade Boy was saved and immediately escaped. Then he used greater teleportation to escape. As for Qin Yu, it would be strange if Jibai could find Qin Yu's aura. Because Qin Yu was currently in the Qin Yu Immortal Mansion, carefully testing out his conjecture. Jibai, Shui Yiling once again urged. But at this time, Madam, quickly leave. If you don't leave, I will not die in peace. That angry roar sounded in Bai Yi's mind, and her husband Huang Yi's body exploded with a dazzling golden light. Like the sun, he rushed towards white-hair blood devil Shui Yiling. Brother Yi, Bai Yi's face was pale. Seeing this scene, she naturally knew what her husband had done. The usually elegant and carefree Huang Yi's face was now as ferocious, as if he had gone mad. His entire body was dazzling with golden light, and the sword in his hand flashed with a dazzling light. In an instant he was in front of Shui Yiling. Going all out. White-hair blood devil Shui Yiling saw this scene and laughed coldly. In his right hand, an extremely thin blood-red sword appeared. At the same time he transmitted, Ji Bai, if you don't act, that girl will escape. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai was shocked by the sudden appearance of the mysterious person, but he still paid attention to the situation on the battlefield. After all, he had been through hundreds of battles. Don't worry, he won't be able to escape. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai transmitted into white hair blood devil Shui Yiling's mind. Shui Yiling's face had a trace of a smile. When had his old partner disappointed him? White hair blood devil Shui Yiling against Xian Huang dual swords Huang Yi. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai against Xian Huang dual swords Bai Yi. Puchi. Jun Luo Yu's rusty sword pierced through Devil Emperor Pian Yi's abdomen. Jun Luo Yu glanced at Devil Emperor Pian Yi's incredulous eyes and smiled faintly. Then he slowly pulled out his sword. How can? Before he finished speaking, Devil Emperor Pian Yi's entire body fell from the sky. The second-level Immortal Emperor Jun Luo Yu killed the third-level Devil Emperor Pian Yi with a single sword. The three Devil Emperors on Blood Devil Emperor's side who acted as bait, Pian Yi, He and Kawa were all killed. The three Immortal Emperors on Emperor Yu's side who acted as bait did not die. These three people were Zhou Yu, Ai Xiao and Duo Mi. These three people were looking at Jun Luo Yu with shock and fear. Jun Luo Yu was clearly far away just now. How did he suddenly appear behind Devil Emperor Pian Yi? One must know that the surrounding energy fluctuations caused the space to become unstable. No one dared to teleport. These three Immortal Emperors still took out their top-grade immortal equipment and surrounded Jun Luo Yu. Jun Luo Yu killed Devil Emperor Pian Yi with a single sword strike. There was no loud sound, but white hair blood devil Shui Yiling against Huang Yi. There was a heaven-shaking explosion. That was the terrifying sound of Huang Yi's Yuanying self-explosion after his sword failed. With Huang Yi as the center, the energy from the explosion spread out in all directions in a ripple shape, like a stone smashing into a calm lake. The self-explosion of a level 5 Immortal Emperor. That energy was too terrifying. In almost 2 breaths of time, the energy from the explosion had spread to the spectators who were 100 li away. Over 1 million spectators frantically dodged. Those with low cultivation like heavenly immortals and heavenly demons all exploded under the energy. Blood dyed the entire sky red. Those low-level golden immortals were also heavily injured. Only the strong golden immortals were able to withstand it. Madman! The closest white hair blood devil Shui Yiling received the greatest impact. Even with his level 7 Immortal Emperor cultivation, he could still feel the energy in his body trembling. When this madman attacked, he had already triggered the self-explosion of Yuanying. Otherwise, Yuanying's self-explosion would not be so fast. Shui Yiling cursed angrily in his heart. Obviously, when Huang Yi attacked, he was already prepared to die. Brother Yi! A hoarse and painful scream resounded through the sky. The other profound yellow double swords, Bai Yi, was trembling in pain. Not far from her, green blood sword immortal Ji Bai sighed. Bai Yi, your life is worse than death. Let me send you on your way. Actually, when Bai Yi saw the pain of her husband's self-explosion, green blood sword immortal Ji Bai could have killed her. However, Ji Bai did not. With his attack power, killing the level 6 Immortal Emperor Jade Blade Boy was a simple matter. Not to mention the level 5 Immortal Emperor Bai Yi. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai disdained to kill others when they were distracted. If he wanted to kill, he would do it openly. Ji Bai. Bai Yi's face was pale, her entire person seemed bleak. I am not your opponent. I know I cannot escape. If you want to kill me, then kill me. If you don't kill me today, I will definitely take revenge on you in the future. The hatred between us cannot be washed away. The moment Brother Yi died, it was already destined. If you don't die, then I will. Bai Yi did not hide her intentions. Indeed, if she could escape, she Bai Yi would definitely escape and come back for revenge. However, if she wanted to escape in front of Green Blood Sword Immortal, it was simply a dream. Ai, be on your way. Green blood sword immortal Ji Bai sighed. His right hand had already touched the sword hilt. Green blood sword immortal did not realize that a speck of dust was flying towards him at a terrifying speed. That speck of dust was the transformation of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. If Green Blood Sword Immortal did not observe carefully, he would not have noticed the restriction placed by Immortal Emperor in Ai Yang. Tears flowed down from the corner of Bai Yi's eyes. Brothery, I am sorry. The Golden Immortal experts watching from afar all thought that Bai Yi was definitely going to die. The profound yellow dual swords that dominated the immortal realm was going to be finished. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai's right hand that was touching the sword hilt suddenly moved. Unsheathed the sword. Countless sword chi surged within the area of tens of li. This was a world of sword chi. Green Blood Sword Immortal's long sword condensed a green sword chi and shot towards Bai Yi. Hey, I am here again. A voice sounded in Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai's mind. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai was startled. His eyes only saw a familiar figure appear out of thin air. He directly blocked in front of Bai Yi. Bai Yi, quickly leave. Qin Yu pushed Bai Yi fiercely. This push pushed Bai Yi tens of li away. And Qin Yu was once again blasted into a ray of light. It's you again. No matter how good his temper was. After being disrupted again and again, Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai was enraged, the muscles on his face trembling. Don't think of leaving. With a furious roar, Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai was about to give chase. However, at this time, a blood-red light had already rushed over. At the same time, a voice transmitted. Ji Bai, I will chase after him. You help me deal with Jun Luoyu. Against Jun Luoyu, I cannot do anything. Alright. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai agreed to his friend's request. However, at this time, Bai Yi had already escaped thousands of li away, using greater teleportation to escape. Ji Bai still remembered the words that Bai Yi had said. If you don't kill me today, I will definitely take revenge on you in the future. The enmity between you and me is something that cannot be washed away. The moment Brothery died, it was already destined. If you don't die, then I will. A big problem. Ji Bai was furious. He hated the person who disrupted his plan even more. This time, the only big fish that were caught in the trap were the profound yellow double swords and Jade Blade Boy. However, Jade Blade Boy and Bai Yi were both rescued by this mysterious person. The trap set up by Emperor Yu and the Blood Devil Emperor could be said to have been destroyed by this mysterious person. Chapter 343. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai calmed down the anger in his heart and looked towards his good friend white-haired Blood Devil Shui Yileng, the person he wanted to kill but couldn't. Genius Immortal Emperor Jun Luoyu. After cultivating for a few hundred years, he had reached level 2 Immortal Emperor. No matter who heard of this speed, they would be shocked. There was no need to doubt the title of genius. At this moment, Jun Luoyu was surrounded by Zhou Yu. Ai Xiao and Duomi Zhou Yu, and the other two Immortal Emperors, didn't dare to make a move against Jun Luoyu, who had some kind of special skill. Jun Luoyu stood calmly in the middle and drank his wine, not worried at all. He didn't run, he didn't panic. He just stood there and drank. The nerves of Zhou Yu and the other two were extremely tense. Just now, Jun Luoyu had abruptly appeared beside the third-level Devil Emperor Pianyi and killed him with a single sword strike. The three of them could still remember it clearly. No one knew if Jun Luoyu would use that strange technique again and suddenly appear behind them. All of you back off. Ji Bai waved his hand and let Zhou Yu, Ai Xiao and Duomi retreat to the side. Zhou Yu and the other two heaved a sigh of relief. Surrounding Jun Luoyu with their nerves stretched taut, they were also scared witless. Now, the three of them were happy and relaxed as they retreated far away. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai looked at Jun Luoyu. Why didn't you run away just now? Ji Bai asked. Jun Luoyu smiled indifferently. Run away? Why would I be in a hurry to run away? It wouldn't be too late to leave after finishing this bottle of wine. Ji Bai's face stiffened, and thought in his heart. Jun Luoyu, I really don't know if I should praise you for having guts or scold you for being an idiot. Facing the famous Green Blood Sword Immortal, Jun Luoyu didn't care at all, and continued to drink his wine. Finished drinking? Ji Bai purposely asked. Not yet. Jun Luoyu replied honestly. Ji Bai was speechless. Meeting such a weird person. Taking a deep breath, Ji Bai smiled. Jun Luoyu, this seems to be the first time we've met. Jun Luoyu nodded slightly. Genius Immortal Emperor. You managed to cultivate to level 2 Mystic Immortal in just a few hundred years. This kind of miraculous thing is indeed shocking. When I first cultivated to level 2 Mystic Immortal, I spent more than 100,000 years. Jibai was not anxious at all. You spent a few hundred years, and I spent 100,000 years. The difference is huge. I've finished drinking. Jun Luo Yu casually tossed the wine jug away, and the wine jug drew a curve as it fell downwards. A brilliant smile appeared on Jibai's face. Jun Luo Yu, you are a genius, no one can deny that. Let me ask you, if you have the ability in the future, will you kill Shui Lung? Jun Luo Yu nodded. Yes, I want to kill all the subordinates of the Blood Devil Emperor. But just now Shui Lung spared your life. Jibai furrowed his brows and said with slight anger. You're not grateful that he spared you, but instead want to kill him in the future. Aren't you going too far? Jun Luo Yu smiled indifferently. It's not that he doesn't want to kill me, but that he can't. Can't kill him. Jibai recalled Shui Lung's voice transmission. Shui Lung had indeed said that he couldn't kill Jun Luo Yu, and this made Jibai slightly suspicious. Furthermore, even if he wanted to kill me, he can't. Jun Luo Yu said again. Jibai felt that he had heard a big joke. A level 2 Immortal Lord said that a level 7 Devil Emperor couldn't kill him. Wasn't this a big joke? Can't kill you, what makes you think so? Jibai continued. Jun Luo Yu raised his eyelids and looked at Jibai with his slightly intoxicated eyes. Why should I tell you? Jibai didn't get angry and said with a smile. Do you know before Shui Lung left, he entrusted me with something. He entrusted you with killing me. Jun Luo Yu interrupted, with a trace of disdain in his eyes. I already guessed it, he definitely wouldn't let me live like this. Jibai nodded. Yes, he asked me to kill you. Of course he wouldn't let you live like this. To reach level 2 Immortal Lord in a few hundred years, to reach level 8 or 9, who knows how much time you would need. Maybe you would reach that level in 10,000 years. Your cultivation speed is too shocking, to the point that even the white hair blood devil wants to kill you to prevent future troubles. Facing a genius, how could the white hair blood devil be at ease and let him grow? Jun Luo Yu stretched his body and placed the rusty sword on his shoulder. He looked at Jibai and said, Don't say so much. I know you want to kill me. Didn't you want to know why the white hair blood devil Shui Lung couldn't kill me? You'll know when you try, because you can't kill me either. Jibai sneered in his heart. An expert must have absolute confidence. Without confidence, one can't be called an expert. Jibai was able to move unhindered in the immortal, devil and demon realms for so many years. How could he doubt whether he could kill his opponent just because of a few words? I can't kill you? Anyone can talk big. But to be able to make a big promise become a reality, not many can succeed. Jibai's hand slowly reached for the sword hilt on his back. I am one of those few who succeeded. Jun Luo Yu smiled. Oh, you're that powerful? Then let me test it out. Jibai's wrist moved. Unsheath the sword. A green sword ray shot towards Jun Luo Yu. With the speed of the green sword ray, it was impossible for Jun Luo Yu to dodge. Moreover, Jibai could control the direction of the green sword ray. Seeing the green sword ray pass through Jun Luo Yu's body, the green blood sword immortal Jibai smiled faintly. Another one who talks big. Is that true? Ah, a series of miserable screams sounded out. When the green sword ray passed through Jun Luo Yu's body, it didn't seem to lose any energy, and continued to shoot forward. With the speed of the green sword ray, in a blink of an eye, it was 1,000 miles away. At this moment, many of the golden immortals, demon kings and devil kings, who were watching were killed by the green sword ray. Something's wrong. Jibai's face changed, and once again looked at Jun Luo Yu's previous position. He saw Jun Luo Yu was standing 10 meters away, smiling at him. You're not dead. Jibai couldn't understand. I saw you get pierced with my own eyes, but how come you're not injured at all? Jun Luo Yu still had a dispirited look. I've said it before. Not only white hair blood devil Shui Lung couldn't kill me, even you can forget about killing me. Do you believe me now? Jibai faced Jun Luo Yu again. I still don't believe it. Clang. The divine sword was unsheathed, Jibai's long sword suddenly turned into 10 swords. And then the 10 swords carried an unparalleled brilliance as they pierced through the air, shooting towards a small area around Jun Luoyu. The divine sword Green Blood was incomparably sharp. Out of the 10 swords, 3 pierced through Jun Luoyu's body, and the other 10 swords shot towards the area 10 meters around Jun Luoyu. The divine sword returned to its sheath. Jibai was still carefully observing Jun Luoyu's body. At this time, Jibai discovered that the pierced body of Jun Luoyu was gradually disappearing, and at a place 10 meters away, Jun Luoyu's body reappeared. "I've said it before, you can't kill me." Jun Luoyu smiled. While Jibai was paying attention, he also used his immortal sense to carefully observe the minute changes in space. At the moment when he drew his sword, the space around Jun Luoyu seemed to have changed. Could it be? Jibai thought of a possibility. Divine Weapon Sky Shifter. How do you have the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter? Jibai's face changed. The Divine Weapon Sky Shifter should be on a girl. How do you have it? There were very few experts in the immortal devil and demon realm who knew about the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter, and Jibai was one of them. Because he knew about the existence of the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter, Jibai didn't attack again. Could it be that you killed that girl? Jibai's face was full of shock. No. Jun Luoyu smiled faintly. I didn't expect you to know about the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter. Yes, I said you can't kill me, because Yener lent me the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter. Lent it to you. Jibai hesitated. Others didn't know what the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter represented, but he, Green Blood Sword Immortal Jibai, as the #1 subordinate of Emperor Yu, knew. Although the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter could control the space within an area, it could teleport people to another location. But it couldn't be considered invincible. As long as one's attack covered the area controlled by the opponent, one could still heavily injure, or even kill the opponent. But the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter didn't just represent a divine weapon, it also represented an identity. Whatever. That person only told Emperor Yu not to touch her disciple, that little girl. Even if I kill Jun Luoyu, that person has no reason to find trouble with Emperor Yu. Jibai convinced himself. Jibai knew how strong the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter represented was. But he and the white-haired blood devil Xue Yileng were life and death buddies. For his life and death buddy, what did he care? And that person only said not to touch her disciple, that little girl, and not Jun Luoyu. You really think you can't die just because you have the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter? Jibai directly pulled out the Green Blood Sword from his back. In the past, he would directly pull out the sword and attack. But now, Jibai was finally going to be ruthless. Green Blood Sword Art Blood Shadow Chaos. Countless sword shadows instantly covered a 100-meter radius, with Jun Luoyu as the center, shooting over in such a densely packed manner. No matter where Jun Luoyu hid, he would be hit. Pung! A crisp sound rang out, and Jun Luoyu's figure appeared in another direction. Jun Luoyu's mouth had a trace of blood. Green Blood Sword Immortal is indeed Green Blood Sword Immortal, as expected powerful. But if you want to kill me, dream on. While his voice was still resounding, Jun Luoyu's entire person stepped on the rusty sword and flew up. Although the attack power is scattered, and every sword chi's power is not even a tenth of my strongest power, but he, a level 2 immortal lord, should not be able to block it. Could it be that his rusty sword is not an ordinary sword? Jibai's heart was filled with doubts, but he had already chased after him. Jibai guessed correctly. Jun Luoyu's rusty sword was a divine sword, and this divine sword had long fallen into Jun Luoyu's hands. Stepping on the rusty sword, Jun Luoyu's speed was extremely fast. But Jibai also stepped on the divine sword, and his speed was much faster than Jun Luoyu's. But the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter made it difficult for Jibai to catch up to Jun Luoyu. After flying for a while, Jun Luoyu suddenly relied on the Divine Weapon Sky Shifter to change his position. His entire person seemed to have teleported to another location, and even the direction of his flight had greatly changed. Under the whistling of the sword chi, Jibai did not dare to teleport. Although his speed was fast, Jun Luoyu's sudden change of direction and position would cause him to be caught unprepared. He could only ruthlessly chase after Jun Luoyu. Pucci, Just as Jun Luoyu dared to change his position, tens of sword chi ruthlessly shot over. Jun Luoyu hurriedly changed his position again. This Ji-bai actually knows how to guess my change of position. Jun Luoyu was careful, but Ji-bai was also persevering. That Ji-bai merely used his index finger and middle finger to form a sword finger, and emitted streaks of sharp sword chi. Relying on his profound power, Ji-bai continued to attack like this, causing Jun Luoyu to continuously rely on the divine tool wheel to dodge. Jun Luoyu easily dodged, but the people on Blue Flame Star were unlucky. If they were not careful, a sword chi would shoot down from the sky and kill them. The number of people who suffered from this unexpected calamity was not few. Times in another region above Blue Flame Star, there was another pair of people chasing after each other. White-haired blood devil Shui Lung stood on a blood-red thin sword, crazily stirring up the energy in his body to continuously chase after the distant Qin Yu. This mysterious person's speed is too fast. Shui Lung, a level 7 devil emperor, stood on a low-grade divine weapon. As the number 1 subordinate of the blood devil emperor, how could he not have a divine weapon? Qin Yu stood on the divine sword Sky Piercer, a middle-grade divine weapon. Qin Yu's divine weapon surpassed Shui Lung by a level. Furthermore, his body was a sword immortal puppet, and his body was comparable to a divine weapon. Man and sword as one, his speed was extremely fast. The only weakness was that Qin Yu's flight was powered by top-grade elemental spirit stones, and his efficiency was only comparable to a level 9 golden immortal. Shui Lung, whether it was his body or his divine sword, could not compare to Qin Yu. He relied on the fact that his energy was purer and stronger than Qin Yu's, and his speed was slightly faster than Qin Yu's. Previously, when I stood on the divine sword Sky Piercer, that immortal Emperor Qian Qi could not see me in the blink of an eye. Although this Shui Lung is a level 7 devil emperor, his speed is much faster than immortal Emperor Qian Qi's. Qin Yu still remembered that time on Maple Moon Star, when he stood on the divine sword Sky Piercer and shook off immortal Emperor Qian Qi's pursuit. This Shui Lung is not only not slower than me, he is actually faster than me by a bit. What the hell? Qin Yu hurriedly changed directions to avoid Shui Lung's sudden attack. Qin Yu felt sullen, but how could Shui Lung chase happily? A dignified level 7 devil emperor, relying on a low-grade divine weapon, and using up all his energy, yet he could not catch up to Qin Yu. These two great pursuits were playing out in the skies of Blue Flame Star. Chapter 344. While the two pursuits were taking place in the sky above Blue Flame Star, the onlooking gold immortals, Yao Kings, and Demon Kings had already begun to disperse one by one. This battle was definitely the most astonishing one among the few transactions that had taken place. Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji-bai, Level 7 Immortal Lord. White Hair Blood Devil Shui Lung, Level 7 Devil Lord. Just the appearance of these two legendary super experts made countless spectators feel that this trip was not in vain. Furthermore, there was also Jade Blade Boy, Xianhuang Dual Swords, and the mysterious person who had single-handedly destroyed the situation. The last mysterious person is really too strong. He could even block the Green Blood Sword Immortal's sword. He should be at least a level 6 Immortal Lord, or even a level 7 Immortal Lord. Looking at the strength of the Immortal Lords and Devil Lords, I know that I am still far from being a super expert. The spectating experts flew away and started discussing with each other. The battle just now had made their blood boil. This battle would probably be remembered in their minds for a long time. Brother Qin actually disappeared. What a pity, what a pity. I still wanted to find Brother Qin for a drink. Lu Ba muttered, and followed the crowd out of Blue Fiery Cloud Inn. At this time, Jiang Yin frowned. Brother Luoyu is always like this. That bastard Green Blood Sword Immortal. After seeing the divine weapon Sky Shifter, he still dares to chase. And, what should I do? Jiang Yin was only a level 1 Immortal Lord. She could not even compare to Jun Luoyu. She could not help at all. Let's go see if Brother Wu Ming is still around. Jiang Yan's eyes lit up. She turned into a ray of light and shot towards the east, disappearing into the eastern horizon. Times this was a very ordinary inn. On the first floor of the main hall, there were tens of tables. At one of the tables by the window sat a stern and determined young man. What was more special was that this young man had a head of flamboyant golden hair. Under his thick eyebrows was a pair of bright eyes. When he opened and closed them, it was as if lightning had struck. In his hand was a wine cup. Raising the wine cup, he raised his head and drank the wine. Drinking alone, there were many dishes on the table. The most eye-catching one was the roasted lamb in the middle of the table. This golden-haired young man did not seem to mind. He grabbed a lamb leg with one hand and finished it in a few bites. On the side of the table, a golden spear. "Brother Nameless," a clear voice rang out in the restaurant, and the blond young man who was drinking was startled. He raised his head and couldn't help but smile bitterly. "Oh, it's Yan. What's the matter?" Wu Ming had a headache over Jiang Yan. Jiang Yan's temperament was actually very good, but sometimes she was too noisy. John Doe was very forthright when he drank and ate meat, but he didn't like noise. Using force to threaten Jiang Yan, Wu Ming had already given up. To him, Jiang Yan's martial strength wasn't high. She was only a first-grade immortal emperor. However, Jiang Yan had two divine weapons on her. One was the divine weapon Sky Shifter, and the other was the heavenly illusion net. Under the protection of the two artifacts, unless John Doe used his unique skill and had the intention to kill, it was absolutely impossible for him to hurt Jiang Yan. "Brother Nameless, I have a favor to ask of you. Can you agree?" Jiang Yan asked as she blinked her big eyes. Nameless frowned slightly. Although Jiang Yan was not strong, she had a lot of tricks up her sleeves. It could be said that there were not many things that could stump Jiang Yan. "You also have a favor to ask of me. Tell me what it is, and see if I can help." Wu Ming said. "No, you have to promise me first." Jiang Yan shook her head. Her big eyes stared at Wu Ming. Being stared at by Jiang Yan, Wu Ming felt bitter in his heart. "Yan if your brother Nameless can't help, how do you want me to promise? You know that I mean what I say. If I promise but can't do it, wouldn't that make things difficult for your brother Nameless?" Wu Ming persuaded. "I won't." Jiang Yan shook her head like a rattledrum. Her big eyes stared fiercely at Wu Ming. "If you don't promise me, Humph, I'll let you never have peace." Thinking of Jiang Yan's various tricks, Wu Ming had a headache. In the immortal, devil and demon realm, there were people who were stronger than him. However, there weren't many who could make him compromise. Even his father couldn't change his mind. Only this Jiang Yan. Wu Ming really couldn't do anything about it. "Okay, I promise, okay?" Wu Ming said helplessly. "But I'll say this first. I'll only try my best. If I really don't succeed, then there's nothing I can do." Jiang Yan suddenly smiled. "Haha, I knew that Brother Nameless treats me the best. Brother Nameless, my brother Luoyu is being hunted down. There's another person who is also being hunted down. Please help save them both." "Brother Luoyu is being hunted down?" Wu Ming put down his wine cup. "Where?" "He and the person I just met are being hunted down in the sky of Blue Flame Star." Jiang Yan said quickly. Jiang Yan was also going to help save Qingyu. Wu Ming paused for a moment. His huge soul power spread out. In an instant, the entire Blue Flame Star was under Wu Ming's observation. He also noticed the two pursuits in the sky of Blue Flame Star. "It's the two of them?" Wu Ming's face stiffened. He then looked at Jiang Yan with a bitter smile. "Yanner, you're really sinister. White Hair Blood Devil Shui Yiling and Green Blood Sword Immortal Ji Bai. These two super experts. Do you think your brother Nameless can stop them?" "Brother Nameless is the best." Jiang Yan giggled. Wu Ming sighed helplessly. "You Shui Yiling and Ji Bai aren't just experts. They also represent two powers. Emperor Yu and Blood Devil Emperor. If you ask me to help, aren't you asking me to offend these two powers?" Jiang Yan pouted and snorted. "Don't tell me Brother Nameless is afraid of them? Alright, stop trying to provoke me. Since I've promised you, I'll definitely help." Wu Ming grabbed another lamb leg and took a big bite. Green Blood Sword Immortal, White Hair Blood Devil. They're very strong opponents. Eat your fill and you'll have more energy. It'll be easier to deal with them. Jiang Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Her brother Nameless was really humorous. At his level, did he still need to eat and worry about being hungry? This little brat actually lent the divine weapon Sky Shifter to Luo Yu. Wu Ming sighed. Even he wasn't sure about the level of the divine weapon Sky Shifter. But he knew that just based on the divine weapon Sky Shifter's characteristics, it was definitely one of the more precious ones. Times Qin Yu fled. White-hair blood devil Shui Iling gave chase. In just a short while, Qin Yu and white-hair blood devil Shui Iling had already flown around Blue Flame Star a few times. Their speed had already reached the absolute limit, and their direction was constantly changing. Where did this mysterious person come from? How come I've never heard of such a person? His body is actually so strong, could it be? White-hair blood devil Shui Iling suddenly thought of an expert from a mysterious place in the immortal, devil and demon realms. The experts from that place were famous for their strong bodies. Even if he's really from that place, to be able to use his body to block Jibai's sword, this kind of strength should belong to the upper echelons of that place. If I kill him today, would I offend that place? White-hair blood devil Shui Iling's heart was somewhat hesitant. If the person in front of him was really from that place, killing him would not be a small matter. Where is he? White-hair blood devil Shui Iling suddenly opened his eyes wide. He used his devil sense to search carefully, but the person in front of him had suddenly disappeared. Within the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, Qin Yu sat on a stone chair, feeling somewhat helpless. This white-haired blood devil is truly powerful. The sword Immortal Puppet's body is definitely stronger than his body. The divine sword Heaven Splitter was once Immortal Emperor Enai Yang's personal sword. It should be stronger than that slender blood sword of his. Only the sword Immortal Puppet's strength is only comparable to a level 9 golden immortal. Qin Yu sighed. Just now, he had been so careful in his escape. Not only did it consume the energy of the top-grade elemental spirit stones, it also consumed his mind. After all, he had to constantly change his direction to avoid the opponent. Qin Yu once again exchanged for 9 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones. Just escaping alone used up 9 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones. One could imagine how frightening it was to escape for his life just now. Hehe, the elemental life force is really mysterious. Qin Yu observed that the wound on his back had already disappeared. This sword Immortal Puppet's body was very mysterious. Its function was almost exactly the same as the body. Qin Yu originally thought that since he could use the energy in his body to recover, then he should be able to use the elemental life force to recover. Consuming 9 pieces of top-grade elemental spirit stones only healed a tenth of the wound. But using just a little bit of the elemental life force completely healed the wound. Regarding Lu Xing's tear, Qin Yu had already discovered a few functions. First, it could guide the elemental life force to heal the body's injuries. Second, it could fuse with the soul, causing the soul force to condense inside, and outsiders would not be able to detect it. Third, Lu Xing's tear could increase Qin Yu's affinity with heaven and earth, allowing him to easily sense heaven and earth, and even easily discover Immortal Emperor-level experts. But even until now, Qin Yu still did not completely understand Lu Xing's tear. It was not like other divine tools that could easily control all their functions. Pung! Qin Yu only felt the Qingyu Immortal Mansion shake. The Qingyu Immortal Mansion had long been refined by Qin Yu. Qin Yu immediately knew that the shaking just now was caused by the white-haired blood demon's ruthless attack on a speck of dust transformed from the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Qin Yu's eyes widened. This white-haired blood demon is too powerful. A level 7 Devil Emperor was actually able to discover Immortal Emperor Enai Yang's illusionary restriction. Fortunately, Immortal Emperor Enai Yang's Qingyu Immortal Mansion not only has illusionary restriction, but also all kinds of defensive restriction. If a level 7 Devil Emperor wanted to break this restriction, it would take at least 1 or 2 days. Qin Yu's heart could still be considered calm. It was just that the opponent had discovered the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. This was undoubtedly true. Pung! 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 Continuous attacks crazily smashed onto the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Qin Yu also felt that the defensive restriction's energy was gradually depleting. The defensive restriction could absorb energy from the outside world to replenish itself. However, the rate of depleting energy was too fast. According to this speed, it would probably be broken in half a day, and not the 1 or 2 days that Qin Yu had initially estimated. I can't let him continue attacking. Qin Yu did not want his own nest to be destroyed. You only know how to hide in your own immortal mansion. Fine, you won't come out. White-haired blood demon Shui Yiling's cold laughter resounded between heaven and earth. As the owner of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, Qin Yu could naturally hear what was going on outside. Qin Yu's face suddenly changed. He could not continue to hide in the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Hiding here would only result in him getting beaten up. Outside the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, white-haired blood demon Shui Yiling continuously attacked that tiny spot. Although that spot was almost undetectable with the naked eye, it could still be detected with his devil sense. Previously, when he discovered that Qin Yu had disappeared, Shui Yiling immediately used his devil sense to search. It was just that he had focused on a large area and did not pay attention to that tiny speck. Furthermore, Immortal Emperor Enai Yang's illusory restriction was not a small matter. This white-haired blood demon Shui Yiling was careless and did not discover it. Hence, Shui Yiling was enraged. In his rage, the energy in his body naturally spread out in all directions. Shui Yiling's energy was extremely strong. Wherever the energy spread out, the speck of dust would turn into nothingness. Only one speck of dust remained undamaged under the immense energy. Shui Yiling's energy naturally felt the resistance from that speck of dust. This weak resistance was naturally discovered by Shui Yiling. He knew that this speck of dust was definitely different from the rest. At this time, Shui Yiling used his devil sense to carefully observe this speck of dust. Shui Yiling was only one level lower than Immortal Emperor Enai Yang. After careful observation, he finally confirmed that it was an illusory restriction. Following that, he viciously attacked. Suddenly, the speck of dust disappeared, and an afterimage flickered. You finally came out. Shui Yiling discovered that the mysterious person had once again stepped on the divine sword and fled. Shui Yiling had chased for so long without success. He was truly enraged and persevered in his pursuit. Chase, chase, you chase. Qin Yu's direction changed rapidly, shaking off Shui Yiling time and time again. As he chased, the top-grade elemental spirit stone in his body was constantly depleting. His escape was simply burning money. Brother Luoyu and Brother Qin, please come over here. A voice sounded in Qin Yu's mind. At the same time, Qin Yu naturally felt the direction of that aura. Without hesitation, Qin Yu rushed towards that direction. It was just that he was curious. How did the other party know that his surname was Qin? At the moment when Qin Yu was rapidly rushing toward that direction, Jun Luoyu was also rapidly rushing toward that direction. The two of them both heard the voice transmission. Almost at the same time, the two of them discovered each other's existence. Brother Qin, Jun Luoyu transmitted. The person who transmitted the voice is my good brother. When they were near the blue fiery cloud inn, although Jun Luoyu was drinking, but when Lu Ba and Qin Yu spoke to each other, Jun Luoyu could still clearly hear them calling each other Brother Qin. Brother Luoyu, let's hurry over. Qin Yu transmitted back. Although the two of them were separated by a few hundred li, but to them, a distance of a few hundred li was like a few meters. To mortals, it was practically a breath's time. The two of them rushed to the entrance of the inn at about the same time, and the white-hair blood devil Shui Yiling and green blood sword immortal Ji, by who were chasing after them, also followed. In front of the entrance of the inn stood a golden-haired youth. In his hands was a golden spear. One man and one spear stood at the entrance, giving off the aura of one man holding back 10,000 men. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.